Welcome back to the Shonen Pulse podcast. This is episode 22, Dos Dos, and I'm your host, Yato. Once again, I'm joined by my co host, Knox.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, the Greek Weeb couldn't make it today. He had an emergency with the family. And, it's just us league. But, that's what I would say if we didn't have a guest. But we do. We have our first guest today, Mr. Mellow Yenace. Hello.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Nice
Thanks
to
for
have you.
joining us, bro. Fuck
Thanks for
yeah.
coming along. Yeah, it's finally happened, baby. We've been wanting to have a guest on here, and who better to have than old Mellow. Oh yeah, and before I forget, for those who don't know, Mellow Yenis is a former co-host to the Project Manga podcast. If you used to watch that back in the day, or if you didn't, and you're just wondering who this guy is, he's cool. We we made sure to get a cool guy here for the first guest. So yeah, Mellow's certified. He was on Project Manga. He's been doing this review stuff for a long time.
He's bona fide.
So on this channel, we talk about 9 different weekly manga that you guys should be reading. Those manga include Chainsaw Man, Dandadan, Centuria, Shangri-La Frontier, Gachiakuta, Ranger Reject, Ichi the Witch, ASStro Royale, and Kagurabachi. I was about to do the fart noise. I decided not to. There's going to be timestamps that in the description to help you skip segments from manga that you may not be following yet. As usual, good chapters this week. Do the things, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, share, all that good stuff. If you or your friends, if you know some friends who read any of these manga and they aren't following us, do the good deed. Share it over there with the homies. Be annoying, man. And, make sure you drop comments to let us know what you think about the episode. And if you got any kind of suggestions or anything like that. It's been a minute. My intro is kind of sloppy. I missed last week because of anniversary stuff, as you already know. But we back, baby. We're going to jump into it. I ain't going to extend this too much longer. Chapter 46 of Centuria is what we're starting with because there is no Chainsaw Man. But since we got a guest, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Mello and see what his thoughts are on Centuria. How you feeling?
I really liked this chapter. It really captured me. It's a nice look at the building behind the throne, so to speak. Like,
Yeah.
this was a major building moment, and I like how low key and suspicious we've been of Lucas for a really long time. The payoff is here, and it's I think it's satisfying for both camps of Lucas is innocent, Lucas is suspicious. Well, it's well, yeah, this is a complex guy. It's both.
Yeah. Yeah, who was it that said somebody threw the idea out that Lucas could be related to the king, I think.
I think I might have
Somebody
said
it on the show, I swear to God.
I
Or
might
wait,
have
maybe
said it, and
it
it
was
was.
Julian. Maybe we said Julian was related to the king or something.
I think it was all of the above, and it was because I know that I've commented on things that I feel like are too coincidental, and I was just saying that I hope that these things don't turn out to be that way, and I kind of I'll get more into it later, but I'm kind of still feeling that way. You
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah.
Do you think Julian is because Lucas is a bastard child, right?
Yeah, but more so in the way where I was saying there was a couple chapters ago where I was saying I didn't like how Julian meets his mom so soon and that got resolved so soon.
Yeah.
And it kind of this chapter kind of felt similar, but for Lucas. And it's I kind of got some weird feelings about it. It could turn out
At
well.
least it happens in a flashback and not in present time, just coincidentally on the route that the heroes were taking or whatever, the same way that it did for Julian. This is extra information that is being added, that doesn't interfere with present time stuff, I don't think.
For sure. Yeah. And it works because in this case Elstree and Co don't know who Julian is, but he's likely seen, he knows who they are. They don't know his face, but he knows theirs. So he knows, what they know and what they don't know about him, and they don't know shit about him.
Right. And I have to wonder, I haven't gone back through any of the previous chapters to confirm this or whatever, but have we seen this knight, this black helmeted knight, specifically in somewhere around the present time, before Lucas joined? Didn't they show a round table kind of war room discussion with all of the royal players involved, and was this black helmeted knight there during in those chapters?
pretty sure he was not. I don't know. I'm flipping through Mellow. Do you remember?
Not that I remember at all.
Mm,
And based on like what V they've given us of like this man is, societally treated as a ghost. Don't talk to him, don't look at him. And it's just like it would make sense that he wouldn't be in the war room or
Yeah.
just
true.
idly just hanging out, kicking it. Lucas oozes resentment and malevolence in
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
chapter. So like
Yeah, he's better. You could
makes sense
tell.
if he's not. Yeah. And he has, I think, every reason to be.
Right.
Yeah. I flipped through just to cut off. I flipped through. It's chapter 28, the chapter where they were burying Angval, and that was the chapter where we got to see all the knights and stuff. And he is not present, but
Okay.
all these other guys are there. So
Okay. That would have been pretty crazy if he would have been like in the scene, just like as like a faceless black knight that like didn't say anything, that no one talked to, but was just like present like as a drawing all the way
yeah.
back then.
But now that just basically I guess confirms that like this is all taking place right after. So like after their meeting, like the king called Lucas to his room because he knew that Elstree was gonna be on fuck shit and like
Hmm.
go against his wishes. So like probably the same, like hour, they're walking past each other in the hallway and he's like, Elstree's gonna do some shit. I need you to fucking kill her assassins. Like right after the meeting, he calls for her. So
So
I
that's
mean
the
calls
reason
for
why
for
Lucas
Lucas.
joins up with Julian in the first place, because he wants to secure Diane and bring her to the king unharmed, and also kill all of Elstree's assassins. So like he
Yeah.
was like, he was lying to the gang. Like it wasn't as like wholesome and legitimate as the writing and his character had kind of like make it seem that it was. Like we were talking about all of these like
Yeah.
scenes where Lucas was drawn weird and had this like ominous like aura around him, like he was up to something, but a lot of his dialogue and actions like alongside of that were kind of contradictory to the idea, and we like had moved further and further away from the idea that Lucas was on some nefarious shit in that way. And it's just like a really good like tug of war back and forth of like, is he cool? Is he not cool? Leading up to
Yeah.
this reveal. So that's why this payoff like hits so hard for me, because like Toru did such a good job of, making that a really uneasy, could go either way kind of possibility.
Yeah.
And then for it to be something as like unexpected as this, even though I'm like 60% sure someone brought up the possibility of him being related to the king in some kind of way.
So the thought that I was just saying I'll save it for later. I guess I'll say it. It's like Lucas looks like Julian and the silhouette that we now I think we've known what the king looked like for a while, but like even when we just had his silhouette, Julian and the king look similar. Like
Yeah.
their outlines and shit, they look similar. And Lucas looks a lot like Diane and Diane's mom. So I
Oh,
think that Lucas's mom was the one that was cast aside and she became a slave and she gave birth to Diane. And I'm hoping
Oh.
that that is not the case because I don't like when it feels like the pieces are too easy to connect like that.
right. Unless it's like, the theme is like, fate and like the ties that bind us, and like we were always supposed to run into each other because of the way that this like grandiose, like theatrical, like
Yeah,
play kind of like unfolds itself or whatever
it could certainly work out,
on
but
some like Amor Fati shit. Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean, that, like, the emphasis on, like, bloodlines, inescapable relations, like, fated relationships is, like, Centuria has a very, like, Western, like, presentation, but at the core of it, it is still drawing from, like, a Japanese writer.
Hmm.
And so I feel like that kind of, like, elements, keystones to that sort of drama are definitely in there. And I think that's very interesting with like Diane, and it could be alluding to that. It could simply be like cultural subgroups having different things, but I do like that idea that they're all related, and maybe Julian is the one that's gonna like look exactly like the incarnation of the person that wounded the king,
yeah,
Ooh.
right? Like I want to see who actually is the incarnation, and like the prophecy of like, because Illustrated messes with prophecy and says they can be averted, and part of me wonders if by averting fate, is there sort of a karmic buildup? Because this is a lady that's willing to assassinate a child for a
Yeah.
crime they have yet to commit. A pre-crime, if you will.
Not Minority Report.
You know, like this lady's just like, I'm willing to kill this baby just because of what it could be. So like, she's morally bankrupt. Is she developing a lot of bad karma, and that buildup leads to the king's death? Yeah, I mean, though the based off appearances, it's got a very Macbeth like kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
So I could see
Yeah.
it coming. Like every delay just adds more pressure to this like dam buildup of bad karma. And like kingdoms are fed and watered with blood. Like that is most of history.
Mm-hmm. And Yato, you had made a comment a couple minutes ago about how we had seen what the king looked like before. Did they take this like shroud thing off of him before, or was it just a silhouette until like this chapter when he
I
commanded his nigga to be like, take this black shit off my face?
I want to say we saw it, but now that I think about it with the scar, I'm not familiar with the scar. I think this is the first time we've seen his face, and it was just a silhouette, and it was just like people, myself included, were like, "Hey, he looks, kind of like Julius
Right,
or
right,
Julian."
right.
So
It's
yeah, so
interesting that
it's
he tells like it was this guy Veselka that like
yeah,
put like an obfuscation mask on him and not just like dramatic shadowing that we normally
yeah.
see like in these kind of things. Like this was like a spell.
Yeah,
That's
I was definitely expecting him to just like stand up and like because he just happened to be sitting behind like a chandelier's shadow or something, and like he's like, I can't see your face, and he stands up or something. But no, he's just like,
yeah.
hey kid, take this fucking mask off, remove this shadow magic from me. I was like, huh?
Yeah, that's that scene in Beauty and the Beast where Bella's like, come into the light, and he's like, no, I'm a ugly ass monster, and she's like, it's all good. And he like comes out into the moonlight and reveals himself. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah,
But no,
no,
this is a spell.
I
he
That's
liked
really,
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot because it's like it makes me think like I think it's very revealing of the king.
Yeah, it kind of
Like
like says a lot about like how he feels
yeah.
about this like scar on his face. Like it's very like Doctor Doom to me,
yeah,
to where it's like he cut him, he like had some kind of accident when he was trying to like work the machine that would like connect his like soul to the Mephisto realm to try to get like his mother back, and like the machine malfunctioned and like scarred his face like a little bit. Like it was like a tiny cut at the end of the day, but he was just like, oh my god, I'm so ugly now. So he like grafted a piping hot metal mask to his face and ruined it more, and was like, no one can ever see my real face again.
so so I wonder in his case though, is it like is it that he doesn't want people to see his scars because it like portrays him to be a weak king, or is it like he's like, I'm ugly and I don't want anyone to see me, like,
I think it's
what?
a little bit of both. I think he's just like insecure. Like he thinks that it's
Yeah,
like unbecoming of a king to like have such a big wound on his face, because like he's
yeah,
supposed to be this all powerful, like regal like entity in the eyes of his subjects and whatnot. But like a scar like this shows that he like got caught lacking in some kind of way, which is like not very kingly, I guess, maybe in his mind. And he could probably also think that he's ugly too. And it's just like, because I
yeah,
mean, like he's around his closest niggas right now and still has the obfuscation mask on.
right.
So like, why do you need to do that when your most loyal subjects are here surrounding you? Unless it's like something like that of an insecurity, or like the king can't be scarred the fuck up because it doesn't look very, it dampens my like regal nature or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if it were me, I'd wear that shit. I'd be like, look at what they did to me, and I'm still here. Like you,
Right.
even with my fucking scarred up and moldy and battered face and whatever else, like I'm still the king. I'm still survived. I'm still strong. But like, I get it.
Yeah.
He want to seem pristine, perfect.
Well, he's super long lived, right?
Yeah,
Like
400
he's
years.
talking he's talking 400 years, 80 years ago, that kind of stuff. So to me, it's almost like he doesn't want to show that he almost got,
Yeah.
right? 400 years, that's generational hatred that he could have coming at him. And
Yeah,
so it's like I want a power that is so overwhelming you don't even think of raising your hand against me.
Right.
And that's just kind of the vibe he has, and overwhelming. I think that by giving that blankness, it removes his humanity and is like he is just pure power. And
Yeah.
I think that's what he wants to rely on. And this is like the first humanizing chapter for him. Like
Yeah.
like you can see him get nervous. He taps his hand
Yeah,
as
he's
if
got
he's
like a
feeling
nervous
the
tick.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's the tap tap tap. He feels his life drip drop dripping away, like
Ooh.
uh
Hmm.
he has this hypocrisy too. He's like, "Oh, I've had them for 80 years with me. I can tolerate their indiscretions." And then he talks about like, "Hey, you got rid of my ma for a new lady.
Yeah.
So your loyalty to like time spent isn't real from Lucas's perspective."
Right.
Yeah, and
Um
it's
Yeah, good point.
interesting that like he, that also kind of tells that like Elstree has probably done shit like this before. Like you were saying about like her karma. It's like how many times has she probably had other kids or people killed just because she's had visions. We only know about Diane because it's what the story is focusing on, but she's probably done this shit before.
no.
Yeah, and he like, seems kind of like fed up with like Elstree's, hyper fanaticism, loyalty or whatever towards the king. Like she has changed since the incident with your mother. Her loyalty knows no bounds, and that will have dire consequences. Like, this chick is so obsessed with me that like any kind of threat will be interpreted as something that immediately needs to be eliminated, even if it's not like maybe as bad as she interpreted in her visions. Maybe her visions are somewhat like exaggerated because of this like fanaticism that she has towards the king, or at least
Yeah.
maybe that like is a possibility that the king is considering when he says things like this.
It's almost like he's annoyed that like she sees him as a god, and he kind of is. Like he got powers from a god, and he's the king, he's all powerful, he fucking resurrected her, and he's spitting out these children with powers, and she like idolizes him and worships him, and does whatever, like she's going out of her way, disobeying his rule to murder people who might harm him. She's like worshiping him like a god, and he's like, bro, like please just go and kill the people that she's hiring to stop the people from killing me. It's like I need her to stop seeing me as a god or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
He sees it as an inconvenience at best, but that blind fanaticism is still flattering to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like it. I like all these people fawning over me, adoring me. But it is inconvenient when they actively don't do what I say.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
he's
he's
that
kind of
kind
like conflicted where it's like, yeah, love me and praise me and worship me, but like not to the point where you're not listening to me because I'm the king and you need to listen to me.
Then maybe he
yeah.
does have some change. And 400 years ago maybe he didn't want to die, and maybe he fought someone who put this scar on his face, but now he wants to die, he can't, and he's hoping that Diana is the person reincarnated that gave him the wound. So he's like, if Elstree kills this kid, then I might have to wait another 400 years for them to reincarnate again if I'm ever to die.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh, that's a
So
good one.
Mm-hmm.
could be
I
Because
like that.
stop that.
because like, you know, people can live with chronic pain for a long time, and it's just it is hard. It's just straight up hard. And just thinking about it, multiplying that lifespan for a long time, I can see why like the sense of weariness would really set in.
Yeah.
Um, the
It's like
part,
you would get tired of being immortal, eventually. And it's like if you think nothing has ever like wounded you until this one time, and it's like you're telling me that this girl, she's predicted this, she's had this prophecy where someone is going to kill me, and you're trying to stop that. No, I want out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm bored as fuck now, and like this little kid could be like, a tether or a link to the thing that came the closest to killing me before, and it's like I'm trying to get that back because
Yeah.
I'm done with this living shit.
This shit kind of ass now.
Yeah, yeah. It like kind of reminds me of like and Freeren's not like the only one that's like this, but like, how long living immortal, huge lifespan like characters always kind of eventually get to a point to where no matter how great their life is, like you have the highest position in a royal kingdom and like you have everything going for you at all times. Like you're getting head like anytime you want throughout the day. You're drinking the best like wine in the land, my nigga. Like you're eating like Kobe steak and like, lobster linguine like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, like
All day, every
eventually,
day.
yeah, like eventually, like no matter how tight your life is, you start to think like, dude, I've been doing this for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the rock star life gets old eventually.
Exactly. This is
Uh,
really interesting stuff, though. Yeah.
uh, kind of like 2 points I wanted to touch on. Uh, the scar on Lucas's neck
Mhm.
is on the throat, and I was wondering if that's a power line,
What do
not
you
a
mean?
scar.
Oh, like
Like
mhm.
like a marking based off of power. Because
Like
in the previous one, he's like, this many. I'm used to fighting this many. So he's used to being outnumbered, being on a battlefield. What if that neck mark is sort of like a, I don't know. I think part of it, like, there's like a prescience, like a survival instinct.
Mm.
Because, like, I think that there are different gods at different things. So, like, what if he's blessed by a god of battle? And that's why he can do the thing with the sword and always be armed, but also, like, having a survival instinct is a warrior's greatest weapon. So, like,
That's where the shield
maybe
comes into
there's
play,
something
maybe.
yeah,
yeah,
there's like he has everything a warrior could ever need:
At all times,
survival
yeah.
instinct, prescience, the ability to arm himself, the ability to defend himself. Um,
Yeah, I like that.
I did.
yeah, I like
I
that.
liked. I liked the whole Diane being the descendant of, like, related to Lucas, but I also wondered if, like, because they're such long-lived people, is there like a level of reincarnation? And so, is Diane like the reincarnation of like Lucas's mother because she died, and Lucas seems like, whoa, 80 years, that's weird. So I think he's aging at a regular time, like a
Yeah,
regular
Lucas.
pace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So part of me
Lucas.
wonders if that fate thing that you guys mentioned earlier is kind of like wrapped up into it, because there is a, you know, Lucas's mother is in love with the king, dies, is still in love with them, and finds another person that seems like him, even gaining powers in a similar way, but would care for them.
Hmm.
And it's like it's like a reincarnation of, like, every life you have, it tries to get better. It tries to give you the things that you need to test yourself to change, or the things you needed but weren't given in your previous life.
Kind of reminds
And
me
so
of
I wonder
Spirit
if there's
Circle.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Spirit Circle. Fuck yeah.
yeah, something like that. That's kind of the this is evoking a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Lucas is hardcore aura farming in this chapter too. Like when he says that shit to the king, he's like, "That's not the face of a king; it's the face of a dead man, my nigga." And they like all jump on him like swords to throat. He's like, "Hey man, move!" I was just like, I
yeah,
turned that
he's
page and I was like, "Oh shit!"
yeah, like these are not like little guys. These are his, his all of his right men, black knights, and he's like, "Move or I'll
Right?
kill you." It's like, bro, you're outnumbered
Yeah,
by big dudes.
and they got the blades to your neck. One of these niggas looks like a fucking predator in royal knight armor. Like he's got the fucking crazy like mouth tendril teeth things going on here. Like that's a fucking serious problem right there. One looks like like a angel
Like
of
an ain't,
death. Like yeah, like
yeah,
crazy wings and shit. We got the juggernaut up
Burn
here in the
Wraith.
top left. Like the juggernaut with a sword, basically.
yeah, and the Juggernaut one is the one that put the fucking shadow on his face.
Oh, that's Veselka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like
Oh
when like
shit.
I wasn't expecting like the guy who casts like shadow face magic to be like beefy, juggernauty. Like
Yeah.
I would, imagine he looked like, I don't know, like an armored warlock, but this dude looks like, a warrior.
Yeah. Yeah, this
But
is really
yeah,
interesting stuff, dude.
yeah, and these designs are incredible. Like when I saw that Lucas's fucking armor, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like this shit's cool as hell." It's like
Hmm.
waves or something, or
Yeah.
it looks like someone just like beat it over and over with like a bat or
You
something.
talking
But
about his
like,
Like
helmet?
Mask and
yeah, his
Steel.
helmet.
The helmet, like, oh yeah, and it's even on like his chest plate and like shit like that. It kind of
Yeah,
reminds me of like, Van Gogh art. You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
very like scribbly, like starry night, like kind of cloudy brush strokes or like line work or whatever.
like dark waves in the ocean or something for like
Hmm.
the fucking ocean god titty monster thing.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of cool shit in this chapter. And back at so looking back at the beginning, Elstree is like talking about apparently Elstree has a trump card. The other I forget her name, the other nun is like, you should use your trump card. And she's like, nah, because like the other bitches might see. And it's like, okay, so there's some beef, between their side. Like she doesn't want the other sorcerers to see what her like trump card might be. And it's like, okay, so Elstree isn't just
Gung ho,
you know,
Ramboing the shit. She's like
or
probably
like
anticipating that the king had put in a countermeasure because she's aware of how skeptical he is of her in the way
that
that
or
he
like
says in the
just
chapter. Yeah.
I was gonna say like she's also just not like she does have something that she can use for combat. She's not just like a fortune teller or whatever. Like
Oh, sure.
the other chick is like confident in their victory if she were to do something, and Elstree's like, nah. In the face of Lucas, who just cut down like 6 of their guys, it's like I'm not gonna use my trump card. It's like you probably should, but like okay, we'll see what you got.
Yeah.
Uh, there's this one page where they're showing off the black armor, and it I think it's a bit of visual storytelling where they're first introducing the thing where it's like superimposed his head. There's like the smaller pillar, and the crenellations on the side of that pillar are reminiscent to his armor, and it is a smaller pillar that is ending up supporting a much larger pillar.
Hmm.
And I think that Arcos and Lacrima have stuff based on those crenellations. Um, or it is symbolic of like either the main house like or the king itself, like the idea of like these are supporting pillars to this house,
Yeah.
but like it's like a minor role, like the significance of like the placement and like adornment of those pillars, like importance is given over to this, and like it kind of emphasizes that while he's impressive, he's still sort of like minor when it comes to power.
Yeah.
And then immediately Ilstree's stuff kind of reinforces that as well. But it was just something that I really liked.
Yeah,
Oh
this
yeah.
chapter does a lot for the story, lots of visual storytelling, and just it's good to finally know what Julian's deal is, and we no longer have to wonder
You
if
mean
he's gonna
Lucas?
backstab. Yeah, Lucas. I keep getting them mixed up.
Hmm.
It's good to know that Lucas, I guess, isn't planning to backstab Julian unless it's like to take Diane, but like he seems like he's on their side, and like his goal is to, he was sent to go and kill the assassins and bring Diane here, but he's like, nah, fuck that, I'm gonna help Diane kill you. So
Yeah.
he it sounds like gang confirmation. He is
Yeah.
with them.
I mean, he still has an ulterior motive that I'm sure Julian and the rest of the protagonist cast would be like upset to learn, but
Yeah,
it's not like as, malicious or nefarious as like outright betrayal and backstabby shit.
and it's also like it works with their goal. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they aren't. They never said that their goal is to like kill the king or whatever. And I guess this in a way kind of does. Like if Julian, doesn't want any kind of violence. Like if he's like, I just want to get away from all this and raise Diane the right way. And Lucas is like, no, she needs to learn how to fight because she has to kill the king. It's like, okay, I can see there being a rift
Right.
in their friendship.
Yeah.
But
Pretty crazy rug
we'll
pull reveal today or in this chapter.
Yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think I'm spent on this chapter. What about you, Knox?
I think I'm good too.
All right, Mello, you got any other words for this one?
I am satisfied.
Okay. That'll do it for chapter 46, the faceless Black Knight of Centuria. Now jumping into Dandadan chapter 187, kick the crap out of, is it Morikami? I can't tell because the flies are covering up the words there, but it's hard to read it. But
Murakami.
yeah, Murakami. Yeah. So this was a good chapter, I think. I didn't get to talk about last week's chapter, but I like the teacher. She looking good. Not a great situation for her, but it is what it is. I saw some people saying that this was creepy in a weird kind of way, and I was like, both of these people are adult teachers, so it's still weird, but it's
Yeah.
not how they were saying it. They were trying to imply like that she was a little girl, and I'm like, nope,
What the?
grown woman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what the hell?
somebody said that like she was a kid or something. I was like, nope, you're not reading the series. You're stupid.
No.
But
It's manga. It's manga. This is just a young teacher in
yeah,
a scantily clad thing. I'm sorry. It's just what your expectations are from the manga you've read.
Ooh,
yeah,
Uh,
get him.
like, but like at the same time, like, yes, you should feel off put. Yes, it is creepy. It
yeah.
is the adult evil. This is an adult who preys on the youth, preys on anyone around him. Uh, you know,
It's
and
like a horny meathead loser with power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
seen that a million
he's
times in real life and fiction.
I mean, he's the worst. He's an investment bro, but instead of like being like an American psycho, he's just a Japanese pervert. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like it's in
Luckily,
there.
though, he gets his in this chapter, but
He
you
sure
know,
does.
so like on this third page when the Zhang Shi pop up, I was like, can he not send? I guess they like don't fully manifest or something, so he doesn't know that they're there because she's like, not yet. I'll keep him busy for as long as possible. So he's like, I guess he doesn't know they're there until the fly buzzes and he turns around and sees them. I get so they're hopping vampires, so maybe they just aren't touching the ground or something. I don't know. It's like weird. You know,
Yeah,
like
I
he
don't
doesn't
know.
notice them until he turns around. I thought like maybe they like were about to manifest but didn't fully, and she's like, "No, not yet," and then they vanish. But then he turns around and they're there, and he sees them. Right?
Yeah, I think he
He's
does
Uh,
see them and the bugs.
I believe they're Adachi's power.
Adachi.
uh,
Oh, the
The
wait.
Miss
Jiangxi,
Adachi. Yeah,
like
yeah,
Miss
Yeah,
Adachi.
yeah,
yeah. They
yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah. The
are.
teacher.
Yeah, they
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
definitely
Yeah.
are. Hmm.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like he doesn't notice them when they first appear, and I was just like, it's like 800 of them behind him, so he doesn't like notice until the fly like buzzes by his ear, and then he turns around
Hmm.
and then he sees them, and it's like he should have probably heard them because they're they just suddenly appeared behind him like 100 of these guys. It's just weird to me, but maybe they just appeared and it wasn't like I'm thinking like they landed like they appear and they land and there's like a thump from their feet hitting the ground, but I guess not.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it kind of seems like these just the way that the motion lines are drawn and like the entry portals are kind of like set up on the ground. It seems like they kind of like rose up from the ground.
Yeah, and I guess that just doesn't make a
Oh,
sound.
Yeah, it's just like a
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
I
there's
mean,
no sound effect for it either, I
yeah,
guess.
like
So
the fly made a noise, but these guys didn't, is what I'm
hmm
saying.
hmm
Yeah, so
well, I mean, Jiangxi are nicknamed the hopping vampires, so I like that they're coming out of the ground and then landing on the
yeah,
ground like a little hop.
hmm
Uh, that's super fun. Uh, I liked the Lord of the Flies.
that was
Dude,
unexpected.
someone I think in our comment section like said this.
What?
Yes, dude. I think in
No,
No
like
I
way.
think so too.
I think in the previous episode, and I don't know, I guess like when Dandadan comes out, maybe the next chapter was like already out by the time the episode like aired, so like maybe that person was just like spoiling the next chapter like in the comments section or whatever, but it seemed like a
No,
prediction. They were like, I'm calling it right now, she's the Lord of the Flies. And I was
no,
like,
it was.
yo, oh,
I found the comment. It's at Parlay Miles 2064.
oh, that's the guy.
She's the Lord of the Flies. I don't care. LOL.
Wow.
So that could
Oh yeah, he
either,
did say it.
yeah, that could either be like she's the Lord of the Flies, like I don't care that I'm spoiling you, or it
No,
could
no,
be,
because this was 6 days ago.
oh,
This chapter came out today, so he
oh
really called it.
shit, he really
Yeah,
said that shit.
on it.
Let's
Same
go.
wavelength.
Good
Yeah,
job,
shout out to
Parlay
Parlay.
Miles.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that it's a great name not just because of like controlling small creatures, but specifically that these are students, which is what the center of the book is. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool how it kind of like overlaps with Rin's power in a way to make it seem like what she's doing is amplifying Rin's ability, but it's really just like any music that is added to Rin's ability probably amplifies it just on some like, oh shit, I gotta backtrack now. Like, the song is better suddenly, like type shit, but it's not like a direct, like, power system based like influence from from Yukishiro. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a good way to make us think like, oh, if she plays the piano, that'll work in tandem with Rin's singing ability, and this is like the team up of the century. Like, no, she just so happens to be playing a piano, which then makes, you know, Rin's ability sound better and is thus more powerful. But what she's really doing is just commanding, you know, small living things, which just so happen to include pygmies too. So it just like feels really, really good.
Yeah. So
But wait, are the pygmies a separate thing because she wasn't playing the piano when controlling them?
I think the piano is just like you said, amplifying it, but
Okay. But
she
she
can
always
normally,
had that power without the
yeah,
piano. Okay, okay.
yeah, but like that just made it so that she could command either more or like the space that they are able to, like the distance that you can control them is probably amplified a lot or whatever.
I
But
think
we,
it's harmony, right? Like music is, especially like piano, is about like tempo and like harmony and like kind of like creating like rhythms.
mhm.
And I'm really curious to know what like song she played, or if we elaborate on her background of like what kind of music she was playing. Because if it was like Flight of the Bumblebee, that'd be funny as hell.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like all like a lot of those classical musics, it's like I remember like those old like classic cartoons where they have the classical music and then it's just like following this fly and it's like this person's chasing a mosquito and it goes
Yeah.
you know like
I feel like they'll probably talk about it like when this is all over and like she wakes back up, Ira will be like, I didn't know you know how to play, so and so, because she's also a piano head that like quit doing piano back in the day. Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, we're gonna find out eventually. We'll get to hear it when it gets animated if they don't like fucking change it for copyright reasons or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, this chapter, I really thought they were gonna go there. I thought it was gonna be like gruesome, like when this guy's getting covered up with flies and shit. Like I thought they were gonna fucking like eat him alive or something. Like I thought he was gonna die, and then he's getting covered up, and she stabs him or whatever, cuts his hands so that he can submit and take his power, and then he like the window breaks and he goes flying out. But I thought maybe he like jumped out the window, like trying to get the flies off, or like fuck off, I'm gonna just kill myself, or like maybe the flies would eat him. But they transported him to the gymnasium, so for a second, I thought it was gonna get real dark.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
But nice to see that Miss Adachi is not on his side. It seems like I still think Jermaine's the bad guy. And I still think that he gave her and everyone the powers, but I guess she is not fucking with it, or she just doesn't fuck with this meathead dude. I don't know, because she's got a knife, obviously, and I'm thinking he had one too. I'm not sure, but it's just interesting to see that it seems like they're, I guess, turning on each other.
I feel like Adachi was just another one of his victims where he's like, hey, I found your social media stuff, and if you don't do worse stuff, I'll make your life over. And I don't think he understood that she was a power user as well.
Well, he was like inviting her to a mixer and stuff. It didn't really seem like anything weird until we got to his apartment and see him like fucking half naked doing buff stuff. But oh no, yeah, I guess he thought she liked him or something. That's kind of how it was going.
Or
Or
maybe he got her drunk, took some pictures, and said, "Hey, I have blackmail." Like, or
yeah,
even said, "Got her drunk," and then just says, "I have blackmail." Doesn't have any, but like, how's she gonna know? Like,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it'd be interesting to see what the full like context of the situation is. How whose side is she on? Does she know the kids have powers and stuff? And if she was sent to take powers from like the main characters, but she ended up, stealing his, and what she's gonna do with it now, because now she's got this fucking severed head dribble spirit, and
Yeah.
don't know if she can combine them or use them. I think she's got to prick herself with the white knife or whatever. So yeah, I don't think she can do anything with this.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy because like, you know, we're kind of like meant to feel bad for Miss Adachi being in this situation, being like manipulated by this like meathead coach loser. But like I remembered like during this chapter that she's like technically the ops, my nigga. Like she's got the blades that are like, you know, working with the big bad villain to try to steal all of these powers for like one reason or another. So she's like kind of a bad guy too, low key.
And like they don't know, like the kids don't know because just the guy was brought to the gym, so they don't know that like they still are unaware. Like she might know about them and want to take their powers, and like she's a mile away at his apartment still while he's getting his ass kicked by Ira or whatever.
She seems kind of surprised about a lot of stuff, so I don't know if she's like a new hire from like Germain's kind of meddling. Uh, so I feel like that might be the case, and she might be like learning how she feels about this whole thing. Because like, if I were an adult who was said, "Hey, there's powers out there. Here's some powers to help protect yourself," and then I was like, "Okay, well, the only other person I have power is a fucking creep," and then I find out that young children, are running around with dangerous powers. I'd be like, "Yeah, no, this needs to be removed from the hands of, you know, young, uncontrollable, unreliable, youths." So I could see
Yeah.
that happening, like a well-intentioned antagonist, where it's like, no, 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 you're young, you're reckless, you don't know what you're doing. Let me take this from you. Like, let me put it in safe hands.
Yeah, maybe she thinks she's doing it for like the greater good, unlike this guy who's using his powers to take advantage of women and stuff like that, most likely. Um,
That is the thing I like about Dandadan, is that those who take advantage of like young women get punished. And
oh yeah,
like that's happened with the Subterraneans, that's happened with like the fact that like Turbo Granny, you know, at the very beginning of the series was like, "Hey, I'm offering comfort to these people that don't often get what they deserve," and I
yeah.
do like that about Dandadan a lot.
And even in the end, like he's been beaten. He doesn't have his powers, and he gets to this gym, and he's like, you know, I got those dirty pictures. Like you shouldn't cause too much of a commotion or whatever, because this won't end good for you. And it's like, bro, you still are doing that. Like these people, you've already lost, and like you got dragged all the way to this gym where people have powers, and you're still talking that shit. Like he needed his ass kicked. He was fucking stupid.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
But pretty straightforward chapter, I think, for the most part. You know, we
Yeah, so wait a
got to
minute.
see.
So the fly. Okay, so this is interesting because like, does she have the ability to like see what the bugs see or whatever? Because like when the bugs come in, they attack dude, but not Misadachi. And Yokishiro is in like a completely different location. So how is she like allocating the bugs from like one character to you know and ignoring another? And then also
Thinking,
like lifting this nigga up with the bugs and carrying him all the way to the gymnasium. How did how does she know that he's the one that needs to be taken in the first place?
thinking it's maybe sort of like a energy signature type of deal, like
Hmm.
just based on what these fucking basketball dudes are like, whatever energy they're like giving off. She probably just traced that or
Okay,
whatever.
so she can
The
see like the
flies,
energy tether from the headless dribblers to Murakami.
or maybe the
And
flies can or whatever she
yeah,
controls or whatever.
and then she can feel that like through the flies. Okay.
Yeah. And her
Okay.
music is commanding them. She probably is able to give them little commands like bring it here or something. Or maybe they just wanted to do it, you know, because the pygmies always do stuff to help her out. Even when I think she was saying she told them, you know, to stop doing some shit and they would just always help her out. They were
Yeah.
stitching for her and fixing her clothes up and shit like that. So the things she control probably just want to help her out when she needs help. So this
I
was
mean,
the flies helping her out.
I think that flies as a bug aren't very sophisticated, and also like I think that uh Turbo Granny talks about technicalities. I said I'd count. I didn't say how. So like the flies are like, go get the guy, go get the source. Okay, we got the source. We are ignoring everything else because
Yeah.
we only did the thing you asked.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely shocked to see the Lord of Flies name drop. People were calling her a fucking they were like she's one of the kings of hell, because like Beelzebub or whatever. That was the last time I've seen the Lord of Flies mentioned when I was reading Make the Exorcist Fall in Love.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, she's strong. Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to get a power up from the pygmies. I kind of thought she would maybe lose her power and not be too involved, but now this is a good power to have on the kids side. So we just our gang is getting beefier
Yeah, this is a pretty
by the chapter.
broken ability to have on the protagonist team.
Yeah, because it's like now if some they can just go and search and find somebody and bring them to us. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, plus who wants like a bunch of fucking bugs in their face and mouth and ears and butt cracks and shit?
Wonder if they
It
can do
makes
this.
Sorry, it makes me think of uh if you guys are current in like the Invincible like TV show, they had an episode a while back where it was a person fighting with swarms of stuff. And it was kind of reminiscent of that. Like I like that a lot.
I am not caught up.
That's why I
But
was as vague as possible.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
spoil the comments, thank you, for Yato's sake.
Yeah, I do wonder though, like if they can use this power to like get Turbo Granny, like if they're like, this go and find Turbo Granny, and they just go and grab all the fucking Neko cats or whatever in the fucking city, the lucky cats, and just bring them all to like a fucking playground or whatever, and they're like, find Turbo Granny and bring her against her will. She's probably too powerful for that, so she can most likely just break out of their hold if they grab her, unlike this, chump. But be interesting to see how else they apply this power in the future.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is pretty straightforward chapter. Shithead got his ass kicked. He got what he deserved. What's the girl's name? Yukishiro got a little power up or whatever, and that's pretty much it. I think I'm good for this chapter. You got anything else, Mellow?
No, I'm set.
And Yenace?
I'm good.
Okay, that's gonna do it for Dandadan chapter 187. Kick the crap out of Murakami. Now jumping into our weekly Shonen magazine segment, starting with Shangri-La Frontier, chapter 215, Legal, Historically Justified Semi-Nudity / Abnormal, Professionally Appraised Perversion. What a title. That shit was
Insane
long as
title.
hell.
Jeez.
Stuck the
Yeah.
landing.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad I didn't stumble on it. I knew I was gonna like fucking triple my tongue saying that shit, but fucking a good chapter. I feel like Shangri-La Frontier is one of those ones where like they pack a lot into like just a conversation chapter, but also they'll have some action and shit. So like this is a good one. I like meeting a new rabbit, and she's got that southern drawl to her. Hey
Yeah.
y'all, you that bird man.
Yeah, Sandy
She's
Cheeks type beat.
Yeah, she's a fun character so far. She's got all these stuffed animals. I remember I was listening to you guys, you and Weeb talk about it last week, and y'all were asking if y'all were like, is this something from before? I don't remember if y'all like came to the conclusion, but yeah, these are some of the other monsters from the world, the Shangri-La Frontier world that Sunraku is beaten, like goblins
Yeah.
and that snake from like chapter 1, I think, and he fought this like bee thing, and I think the shark is like maybe it's not a shark. Maybe that's the
It was that like
like
catfish,
The
like
laser shark.
mud lizard thing where he like fought it in like some like
the mud. Yeah,
canyon, and he couldn't move all that well because his
Oh,
feet were
yeah.
stuck in
Yeah.
the mud. Yeah,
Mud
he had
diver.
to.
mud
Yeah.
diver.
And he had to like go.
Yeah.
He had to like jump or something and fall on it to kill it or some shit. I can't remember. It was he
Uh,
found some silly way around, like a loophole or something, I want to say.
in 214, I saw the spider with the clown face. You
Let
can
me
see that the
see.
butt. You can see that
Oh
lip, and the
yeah,
nose, and the mouth, and I
yeah.
love these dudes. And it's like, it makes sense that the Vorpal bunnies who are so obsessed with combat that even these like cutesy moments, it's all based off stuff that he's defeated.
Yeah. So now that like we're talking about that, and it just got me thinking like so let me see. She's got these charms, and it's like they'll bring you good luck. For example, this goblin doll here will constantly refill your energy over time, little by little. And Sanraku's like, oh, it's an HP regen too. So now it makes me think that like the more It's like a checkoff system or whatever. So like the more monsters he kills in Shangri-La Frontier, the more, because she's essentially an NPC, like a vendor or whatever. So he came to her to get these like nodes open so that he can equip more items. But like now when he goes and kills more monsters, it unlocks more charms for her to sell as these like stuffed animals or whatever. So like as if he goes and defeats like a fucking three-headed Doulahan, Doulahan's no head. But if he goes and defeats like I don't know, a three-headed octopus or something, like then next time he comes here, she might have like a three-headed octopus, like stuffed animal charm that like gives him some power or whatever. So I'm thinking it's based on exactly everything that he's beaten. And like
Hmm.
if he hasn't like seen it yet, like if he never encountered like the snake, then I don't think she would have this snake doll here. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just cool to see. You go to vendors in video games, and sometimes they'll just like you'll come to them and they might not have certain things on them because like you're not high enough level yet, and then you come back later and it's like, oh shit, the vendor's fucking inventory refreshed, and now he's got like this cool broadsword that I couldn't use before, but now he does or whatever. So I think it's something like that, but uh, we'll see, I guess. But
What I really liked in this chapter is when hold on, where that shit at? Yeah, he on page 3, I think. Yeah, page 3. He's like, well, I hate to admit it, but I didn't know you needed to unlock slots before you can equip accessories. I heard you'd be able to do that for me, so that's why we're here. And the NPC like doesn't have like gamer jargon in there like AI or whatever. So like, or maybe they do like recognize what he's saying, but like has to like keep up the bit or whatever. Like has to like play into the theatrics of like this fantasy world. So they're like, oh, expanding your soul crevices, I think you mean. It's like, hey man, remember you're in a fucking video game, bro. Like you're in a fantasy world right now. Like play your part, fam. We can't be talking about it as if we're gamers right now. Like I'm an NPC, dude. Like, there's lore and shit going on.
thinking AI is just like smart enough to pick up on certain things. So it's like if he comes in here saying slots, it's just like the system knows like he's talking about soul crevices. Plus, like there's probably just a limited amount of things that someone would come to this NPC for, which
Right.
are like opening your soul crevices and buying these like dolls or whatever. There's probably a couple other things, but yeah, it's just some shit that she probably just understands and he didn't know because Buddy skipped like 5-6 towns.
Yeah.
Raku's a goof.
I kind of like her kind of like creepy voodoo doll vibe. Because when she's like dragging him, the text changes and like she's got kind of the spooky oh ho 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 kind of lady going vibe for her. But like soul crevices, stabbing with the knives, all these dolls based off things that he's defeated. Plus, there is her name, Efil. It's similar to a French verb, effoyer.
Oh.
It's spelled slightly differently, but it is to like to strip, to thin out, to pick and pull the leaves and petals from.
Ooh.
And so
Oh.
it's to me it hints as sort of like she's uncovering the spots like the soul crevices, but also the way she's a person that picks the petals off daisies, man. She's sinister. She's got a mean streak to them.
Yeah.
Just plus yeah, combined with like the needle and the dolls, it just gave me this kind of more ominous but like very like sugar coated meanness to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she seems to take some pleasure in it. Like she tells him, you're gonna feel a little prick, and then she jabs the shit in his head.
Yeah.
It's like that wasn't a little prick.
It like even though it's not as similar or whatever at all storytelling wise, but it reminded me of in Dune. I don't know who's all seen Dune here, but
Yeah.
when Paul Atreides goes to the Bene Gesserit and like they have him like put his hand in that box with like the Gom Jabbar like poison needle like at his neck or whatever, and was like, put your hand in this box and you'll feel the craziest pain you've ever felt, and if you don't like keep it together and like stay still, then you'll like accidentally get poked by the Gom Jabbar and like die a like slow painful poisonous death or whatever. It's like not like that at all, but it like reminded me of that scene just because like hand pain. from
Yeah.
like this character or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But yeah, and like her face while she's like doing it, like you could tell that she like kind of like enjoys doing this to people, I want to say. Just the way that her face is drawn, because like whenever there's a character that's like overly like jovial and like happy and like always has this big closed eyed like smile on their face, they're like, I want to say like most of the time there's like a thin like sinister like layer like to them, like maybe not like outright evil, but just like a character trait like this where it's like, I love stabbing people with needles. Like like she just seemed like too nice and happy and giggly and smiley, so I'm just like,
Yeah, and
what you got going on?
she doesn't open her eyes at all until like she stabs. Like that's the only time her eyes are open in the chapter. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like Elka in that way. And I remember the brother rabbit also didn't have his eyes open.
Hmm.
Uh, so part of me wonders, and like Vash has one eye open, one eye closed, and Emil, who is the most innocent, has both eyes open all the time.
Yeah.
And so
Bright eye,
it makes
bushy
me
tail.
wonder of like if that is just an indicator of like character, because we have our little like ancient blacksmith. She's got her eyes open, but she's also like the most positive about these things. Um, so I wonder what the divide is there, and I feel like that's a bit of visual storytelling that's gonna be like expanded on later,
Yeah. I'm
hopefully.
thinking at some point we're probably gonna get a raid on this rabbit world, and maybe Sunraku and gang are gonna be like defending. People will probably realize that like Vash or whoever, somebody, there's like a colossi here, and it'll be like defending Rabbituza or whatever Lagonia from invaders type of deal going on. That's
Yeah,
what I hope at least.
I just get the it's another shady shopkeeper and the rabbits that are themed off Yakuza, so I dig it.
Yeah. I do like her design, and I think I just noticed that like she has a headband around her two ears, and they're like fucking pushing her ears together up at the top of her head,
Oh yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, it's cute.
she's got these
Uh,
fucking whatever these things are called, these chung li knots on the side of her head.
they remind me of the pin cushions for
Yeah,
sewing.
yeah, sewing. Yeah, yeah, she's got a cool design. I love these rabbits. Love when we get a new one. And
Oh,
you thought of something?
sorry, I just looking at her thing and it's like, oh, she even her shop has like little rabbit cactuses on the outside. She's prickly.
Let me see. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
right after he blows out all his money.
okay. Yeah, I was trying to find out. Whoops, something fell down in my house. Heard a loud thump. But yeah, so spent some
It's
time at the
Senraku.
Sun Rocker, yeah, running into my house. So yeah, this cloak situation. So he's equipping things now, and I was like, when he put the cloak on and the glove, I was like, okay, so like he's gonna put that shit on, and then it's gonna like automatically unequip because he can't equip some things. But I can't remember. I think the curse has changed, so he can equip something, or this is counted as an accessory, so it's not
Yes.
upper body armor.
Yes.
Okay,
It's an accessory. They're all accessories. So he's just
yeah,
the guy with all extras, but no
yeah.
shirt, no pants.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's like they found loopholes to give him some clothes or whatever. I wonder if it has any like if there's any like warmth stats, like if there's a cold area in the game and he'd go there and like does this add any kind, since it's an accessory and not like an actual like cape or whatever. Not, I mean, maybe it is counted as a cape. Maybe when you get a cape, it's counted as an accessory and not like a chest armor. But I don't know. I was just wondering if this is gonna have any kind of like heat stats and protect him from the cold temperatures or not. Video game logic stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, he buys up all these dolls, and everything that happens, like whenever Sunraku gets a new thing, it always comes up later and like saves them or whatever. These aren't like throwaways, so these dolls are gonna get mentioned again. Something's gonna happen. He's gonna be like, oh wow, good thing I had bought that doll from fucking Emil's sister or whatever. So can't wait to see how these get applied later.
I wonder if they're gonna be given out as gifts to the complete Wolfgang squad. He's like, "Hey, I bought these. Here you go." And then maybe there's gonna be like a cute romantic moment with Tiger Zero, misunderstanding everything, like getting super hyped and then realizing, oh, it's for everybody. Damn it, I missed my chance. How did I do this?
Mhm.
I like that.
Middle school romance is hard. Damn it.
I need them. I need them to go ahead and get that over with. You figure that situation out. It's been we 215 chapters in. Find out. Figure it out, buddy.
Right.
It's the end of the series. They kiss once. That's it.
Yeah,
Bruh.
isn't that like the frustrating like side of shonen romance for like
Yeah,
romance fans?
yeah, they finally get together and the series ends, and you get like an epilogue where they have a kid or some shit.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
it's
they're
like they could
married.
show
You never
that,
saw their first date.
right?
Yeah, I hope we don't have that, and instead, like at least we get like one, 1 to 3 arcs of them like knowing and maybe dating, because it'd be cool if like it gets to a situation where Sunraku's like, I don't know if he would be that type, but no one kills my girlfriend, or I can't like. I'm not gonna let you like talk shit to my girl or whatever. I don't know. I want to
They
see it.
do like a Valentine's Day event quest together.
Ooh,
I want to see something cute like that. Shangri-La Frontier seems like the kind of place that would definitely include seasonal events.
I like it. I can see it now. Oh my god! Like an update comes out and it's like there's a Valentine's Day boss that you can only fight if you have somebody that you're like married to in
Two-person
game or
dungeon.
something. Yeah, it's like a 2-person dungeon, and only you can only go in there if like both of you are wearing like the ring of fucking love or some shit, and they go in there and the whole time fucking Saiger is like blushing and losing it, and Sunraku's like, "Yeah, it's really cool that we could do this, man. Thanks. Sorry I had to ask you. I know it's kind of weird." And she finally like reveals that like, "Hey, I'm who I am" or something. I don't know. I would love like a Valentine or lovers boss that put them two together, and they were the only ones who were able to fight it.
I just want to find out when he realizes that Psycho Zero is a girl.
Yeah,
And then also, like, Sunraku doesn't seem to be the kind of guy that would care one way or the other, but I think he would care a lot more once he realizes, oh, this is somebody I know.
Right.
yeah, that, and like
That's where
she
it's
seems
at.
to be, she wants to be romantically involved. So like he wouldn't care to know that, he'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, you're cool as fuck now," but like I feel like she would probably want like it to go further than that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he plays with, he plays with fucking Rust and Mordo, not Mordo, but and Pencilgon. They're girls, so he's cool with like playing with chicks. But this one is like blushing and losing her shit whenever she thinks about him. So it's like I want to see if that energy gets reciprocated.
Hell
Fingers
yeah.
crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. So
Luck, kid.
yeah, he's fine. He goes back to that arena where he fought some wizard or whatever. I forget what the
The
thing was
Tree
called.
Witch or
Yeah.
Scarecrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and he activates this new glove, 11 trigger hazard, and I like it. It's cool. I like the activation is jamming the gem into his chest or whatever, jamming against the left side of my chest. It's crazy ability. Increases his stats, but every 10 seconds it reduces his health by half.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, and it's like, I mean, every just half every time. So it's like if he's at 100, it halves it to 50, and then 10 seconds later he goes to 25, and then 13 or whatever. But I'm assuming that like he'll probably use it in the case where he's got some constant healing. Like maybe he'll just be chugging energy, fucking health pots, or someone can heal him constantly. Like they give him like a buff or like a hot. They throw like a fucking renew on him, and he just heals every 7 seconds or something. So it just cancels it out, and he can just kind of go crazy. Just want to see how he's gonna apply this like insane movement ability in combat.
Yeah.
I, li- I like the fact that they used amber because they are considered stones that are like have healing properties that like energize those when you feel sluggish. The idea that they are linked to life force and like strength, courage, protection, or even like that uh, amber is supposed to be like the tears of gods and goddesses and stuff, and like
Ooh.
or the petrified is like sap from the tree of life, like attached to like sun and vitality. So like him losing all his health quickly and then getting like more balanced, but it's just like you're just processing raw energy, but you can still like work with that. And I think that's a nice little like garnish, a touch.
Yeah.
I got so mad when he was like, "All right, I'm taking this cloak off." I'm like, "Nigga, just wear something else for a while, bro." Like, why? Like, it's like a running gag
They
in
didn't
this
want to
shit
draw
that, like, yeah, but
that.
it's just like, bro, it's like I get it. You're like, you got the Lycagon mark and you can't wear shit. And like when you put something on, like, you know, the mark is updated to where you can wear shit for like 3 minutes before it like breaks down and like, you know, is unwearable or whatever. But like this one like bypasses that. Like it's just on the shoulders and around the neck and like drapes down the back. Like it's a loophole and you don't even want to wear it. And it's like, nigga.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the whole like Dragon Ball and Goku, the whole Super Saiyan existing because he didn't want to shade the hair anymore, and then like Doctor Stone did something similar when characters would get like when Senku got repetrified and then he lost like his face scar or whatever, but then he like drew it back or something. So I was like, oh cool, you know, get rid of the face scar because that makes it like a little faster to draw Senku. But then he like redrew the scar on his own face, and I was like, okay, so he just doesn't care about how long it takes to draw it. It's, you know, it's just interesting. It feels similar because it's like Sunraku, he had the mark, and then the mark changed, and then it's like he got a cloak, but he's not gonna wear it. It's like just wonder how much of it is internally just you know, forethought for like I don't want to draw that shit that much. I'll draw it when the time comes, but right now he's not gonna wear it.
I mean, Senraku mentions even it's like he says, "Yeah, it's pretty havoc. All this fabric gets in my way when I'm doing stuff." So I think that just based on how he's been so far in this entire game, he's just literally gotten used to being butt ass naked.
Yeah.
He's just like, "Nope, this is how I feel comfortable now."
And this is how he plays. Like this ring, this glove is perfect for him. Like he's all about this fucking mobility, going fast and being nimble and shit. And
So
uh
cool.
energy, it's like the energy inside of me is completely running amok, and then he actually just fucking does the Angry Birds thing and flies into a fucking wall and kills himself.
I like how he
Happens
just
so
whoops
fast.
himself in the heart and then jump starts it. It's like that movie with Jason Statham, Crank.
Cranked, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It's a good movie. He's just started that, bro. That I saw that on Twitter the other day. Somebody was like, "This is the only time a sex scene was like it made sense for the movie," because you know people are always like, there was no point in having like a sex scene in every movie or whatever. It's like in this case, it actually made a lot of sense because him having sex with the girl like helped this like fucking heart or whatever that cranked.
Hmm.
But yeah,
It's the only.
Sunraku. Hmm.
Go ahead.
Uh, I was gonna say Sunraku flying headfirst into a wall like an angry bird was great. He didn't even know he fucking killed himself.
Yeah.
Bird window pane.
Yeah, bro is just super dead. Now he's got a penalty. So I wonder if we're gonna see, you know, if it's like gonna skip over, like is he gonna log out or whatever? Are we gonna see him do some stuff with this fucking debuff? Stats lowered for a limited time. It's probably just like a 10-minute debuff. I remember in like World of Warcraft when you die and you like if you don't feel like, excuse me, if you don't feel like walking back to your body to like reclaim it, you can just like resurrect it, the spirit healer, and it like halves your gear. It fucking reduces your stats by half and breaks all your armor for like 20 minutes or some shit. But Sunraku's not wearing any armor. He just got his pants on. His
Jesus.
shorts.
And the
Jorts.
glove.
Yeah. Jorts and glove man.
Hmm.
Going at super fast speed and then you smash right into a wall. And bro was like, I got distracted. He fucks with it. He likes it. This is I want to see him on a street. So like I guess maybe he'll just run to another town. It's like I'll go to all these towns that I skipped and collect you know, a bunch of information and shit and do stuff like that. He can there's a lot of shit he can do with this fucking power if he's moving, you know, speed of light or whatever. They didn't say how fast he was going, but you know, obviously it's incredibly fast.
Yeah.
I want it to be used to like steal a march on somebody. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, these people are going after this stuff. It's going to take them on average 3 days. They don't have the resources to get teleportation scrolls. We can just beat them in a foot race if I use this thing." And he has to just hardcore parkour marathon death march just like blow through the terrain and just like make sure he doesn't like run straight into a tree or something like that.
Yeah. I wonder how this works. Like, if he carries someone, like if he's carrying someone who can cast healing magic in his like arms, can he just run and have them like constantly heal him? Or like, does that put them in danger? Because if you run, you know, if he runs into a tree, he's killing them both.
You think that his like jackpot ability, where it's like he only gets 1 HP left, could save him? Where he's just like, oh, I can't stop fast enough. I just punch myself as hard as I can and like try to knock myself out for a
Yeah,
moment.
maybe if it hasn't halved his health yet, I guess. Because like I think that's a one shot type of thing. Like he has to go from like 100 to 0 and it'll save him, or is it just like any blow that would kill him would instead leave him at 1, like false swipe?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I wonder if he's gonna get reported for hacking.
Oh man, that'd be wild if people just start like calling him out saying he's cheating just
And
because
then that
like
they're like, "Hey, how'd you do that?" And he's like, "Man, I'm just good, dude." And they're like, "This guy like has been here for like 3 months. He's killed off 2 Colossus. This guy's hacking. This guy's cheating." And then I want the company to come out and be like, "No, no, no. This guy's just been good with it."
yeah, we definitely need to hear more from the developers and yeah, just the other people in Wolfgang. Like I want to see what Kyogoku is doing now because like after the meeting concluded, Sunraku like went to the store and was talking to the chick at the that works at the store and he went to school and shit and he saw Saiger and then after that he jumped right back in and got his loot from Emil's sister and he's like running in the wall. So I want to know what everybody else is up to and when we're like jumping into it. I feel like we'll probably get another 1 or 2 chapters where it's like not main arc stuff and then we'll head into whatever like big arc is coming up next.
I wonder if they're gonna do a new game or revisit one of the older ones.
I would love a new game. I feel like they probably won't so soon because they just added a bunch of characters like to this roster uh and like kind of talked about what's going on next. Maybe when they get to the next place they'll pause for a new game or something, but I feel like it probably won't happen immediately. And I just wonder when and if other characters are going to join like what was it, Sylvia from the fighting game tournament. Like I feel like it's pretty obvious that she's coming and she'll probably bring like one of her homies or something, but like when is that going to happen?
I wonder if maybe reaching out to her or trying out that Monster Hero game to see if he can like get used to that ludicrous speed. And he's like, "This is close, but not as fast as Levin Trigger." So
Hmm.
like maybe get my reactions used to this so that I can just kick it up a notch with Levin Trigger.
Yeah, that is a good point. He does sometimes play other games to get used to stuff so that like he doesn't have to, I guess, reveal it. Like, he doesn't have to risk being Barry Allen out in the fucking fields of Shangri-La Frontier where he can go play another game and practice. It's like, okay, I got the feel. So no one has to like see me. They don't know what I'm doing. They just think I'm running or whatever. Yeah, I can see that. Maybe he plays like a fucking racing game, like an actual game where like you race as a humanoid and not like in a car. That'd be interesting.
Oh yeah.
Like a fucking like Battle Angel Alita. That fucking what was that arc? Motorball. Like he goes and plays like a motorball game
Ooh,
to get used to the fucking Levin trigger speed. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
just
that
like
would
a
be
first
sick
person Rocket
actually.
League.
I need it to not happen, but I think it'd be cool.
Oh yeah, you're a motorball arcader.
Yeah, I didn't like that arc, but I mean, I like it in Shangri-La Frontier. I'm sure they'll do it better. Yeah, they'll do it
Man,
better.
what? Nick,
They'll do it. They'll do it better.
man, fuck you. You're not
Yeah,
good.
Sun Raku Ball. Yeah, it'll be better.
With my thumbnail.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
even more better.
No.
Yeah, good chapter. I
I
think
don't have anything else.
yeah, I'm getting squeezed out. What about you, Knox?
I'm all squeezed out as well.
All right, Mellow, you said you good.
Yeah, I'm set.
All right, that's gonna do it for Shangri-La Frontier, Chapter 215: Legal, historically justified semi-nudity, abnormal, professionally appraised perversion.
Ooh, killed it.
Now jumping into Gachiakuta or Gachiakuta, however you want to say it. Chapter 131: Requesting Leave. Knox, what are your thoughts?
I think I am gonna have to try to force myself to go from Gachiakuta to Gachiakuta now that I've like actually seen characters say like Akuta like
Yeah,
recently in the manga. Now I'm starting to feel
that's
weird saying it the other way, but like I'm just the kind of person that like, you know, once I, you know, experience one pronunciation of something, it's really hard for me to not like just keep using that pronunciation. Like when
mhm.
this is like super like not related to the chapter and I'll get into that in a second, but like if someone has like a nickname or something. Like if they call like someone Buddy, but they like introduce me like, hey, my name's Mike, then like, you know, even though everyone around me is going to call that person like Buddy from that point on, like it's like, I'm sorry, you introduced yourself as Mike, I can only call you Mike now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, anyway. So but I'm gonna try really hard with Akuta. But
I feel it was the same for me though. Like when they said like Team Akuta, that's when I was like, okay, I think it's Akuta, but I'm still gonna say it the way I say it.
Yeah, it's
until
tough.
like the anime. You know, it's like one of those things where like when I hear like a character say it in the anime, it's like there's no going back from it then.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. But I don't know. I want to say it right, so I'm gonna try. But no guarantees. But I saw a theory on the timeline recently. I don't know how long ago. It was a little bit ago, like maybe a week or two ago. And they said that Corvus might be blind and can only see with this eye on the back of his head. And like when I look at his character design, I'm like, dude, he has no pupils. His eyes are like white, you know what I'm saying? Like, god damn, like maybe that might be a thing, bro, and that would be like super crazy. But then I'm looking at like Tamsi in this chapter, and I'm like, this nigga don't got pupils either. His eyes are white as shit too. So it's like, yeah,
could be a thing.
That might be pertinent. I think that eyes have been, because like late in the chapter, Engine and Simu, like they were talking about like they want to see the future, name your item. So maybe Tansy and the boss have done so and seen the sort of future. Uh, and based on what they saw or how they personally interpret it, I think may change the color of their eyes because we've also seen characters that are deeply negative, like our Stickmaster, and then also like the Raider boss, right? Has solid black eyes. So maybe the boss has also seen the future, but he's a negative person, so he sees like a terrible future.
Talking about Corvus, right? The cleaner
Yeah,
boss.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the thought that maybe he might have done something and lost his eyesight. And it also just kind of I think I thought about it after this chapter or last chapter, where it seems like the people that he's gathering or keeping close to him, all of their powers have something to do with like the five senses so far. Like most of the powers, like the Watchmen series, like Rudo's is touch. He touches things. Amo, her boots, they let off a smell, and then uh what's his name? Typhus, Typhon. What's his fuck? What's the Raider boss's name?
Zodal.
Zodo. Yeah, Zodo. His is eating. So like he bites like the roach or whatever, and then he fucking sprouts like wings or whatever from his
Oh,
cloak. So I
that's like
think
a catalyst for his ability.
yeah, every time he's used like his thing, he like eats something or whatever. We've seen.
I never even noticed that.
I think he's done it like two or three times. I know he did it with the roach, and like later he sprouts like wings or some shit.
In like
And I
the
think
information broker arc, right?
in the he might have used it there, but he used it in the Trash Beast arc when he was like talking to Rudo like one on one, and he's like, you do something to shock their system, and he like fucking chomps on the roach.
Yeah.
But like
Oh,
I think
109, I think.
Yonkers, Tyler the
Huh?
Creator type beat.
Yeah. So I think Corvus might be trying to gather people who might have access to more senses that maybe he might have lost. So like Simu or whatever, like she has like vision and maybe he can't see anymore. So it's like, yeah, it's cool to have her around. I don't know. It's kind of a fucking half baked work in progress theory that like might get more legs as the series goes on. But I think there's definitely something with the like five senses to these powers, you know, because Rudo touches things and Amo, her boots, they let off that smell, like I said, and we got people who can their powers are based on like vision, and this guy's got a fucking eyeball on the back of his neck, so it's like there could be something there.
Yeah, I like that.
But this chapter's cool. Like the color page. It's we got an anime trailer last week too, I think. So this was like right as the trailer came out. Trailer was dope. It was either last week or week before. But cool color page, funky.
Yeah, the
And
color page is bussin'.
I like this scene where Simiyu goes to this bar, and like on the first page when she gets there like 2 days later at night, and then she opens the door, and like that bottom panel, it reminds me of those like photos that you would see like back in the day. You go to like some fucking like some black family member's house, and they got that photo of like people funky dancing and shit.
Yeah,
Can't remember what the name of it is, but that's like the vibe I got. Like when I see this like woman in the bottom left
yeah, high
of that
key.
page,
I didn't know
it's like
Engine was a cigarette smoker. Have we been seeing him smoke cigarettes?
I don't remember.
I mean,
Maybe.
he might just be that stressed.
Yeah. Shit
Yeah,
could be bothering him for real.
I
Because,
mean, he nearly lost a couple of those kids in
yeah.
that last job too.
Yeah. Yeah. Things have been stressful over at Cleaner HQ lately in the last couple of months for these guys. But yeah, they at least got to take a photo. So when somebody no longer is with them, they'll have this photo to remember them.
yeah,
So who will be the one to die?
It's sentimental,
Yeah,
which
it might.
I think is great. I love that part about the series, just like sentiment and stuff. What do
Yeah.
you guys think about the conversation between the two like experienced cleaners and like how they're kind of like hedging their conversation?
I'm super interested in like Engine and Semiyu's like relationship. I feel like it wasn't until just recently that Kaorana kind of like showed that they've had this deeper like connection, like um with each other, like separate from their connection with like everyone else on the team or whatever. Or maybe I'm just noticing it, for the first time, and it has been kind of explored or brought up or mentioned or spotlighted in the past, and I just don't remember. But like I just always thought like it was cool that they, it was kind of like shown that like these two are like really tight and close specifically.
Yeah, to the point where he knows like if she's really going on vacation or whatever, she always like says like I'm gonna have a drink. Like she's looking forward to having a drink on her day off, and she didn't say it this time, so he knows something's up. Like you're bullshitting. You're not really taking a day off.
Yeah. Wonder what the
But
boss had seen though.
yeah, yeah. The boss has seen something before long. Something is going to happen. I wonder if it's Tamsy related because like last chapter, Tamsy was talking about like it's time to prepare the sacrifice, and then he goes to see Corvus, and I know people were thinking like he's gonna try and fucking kill Corvus or sacrifice him or something like that. But the chapter opens up just like nope. He's like I'm gonna go on a trip, so I'll be taking some time off, and he looks super silly. Like this is how I probably used to look like if I ever went into the fucking office at work and is like, I'm new here and I want to take a day off and I don't really know how to work the system to put the time in. So it's like, hey, can I take the day off? It's like he looks silly. Like he doesn't look like his usual self. He
Right.
just looks like he looks like he's scared to be told no, so he can't like go to a concert this weekend because he's got to work double shift or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tamsy, I mean, I think we all are assuming that like he's taking his time off, but he's actually going to be at this doll festival, probably dressed up and causing some mischief.
Yeah, just trying to create some kind of like bullshit little alibi. Like I told you I was gonna be gone. Told you
Yeah,
I'm going
he
somewhere
probably.
else, even though I'm gonna be here in disguise.
Yeah, yeah. Tamsy's one to keep an eye out on for sure.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
interesting to see. So I guess the name thing is interesting because like could have sworn that when Folo got his weapon, like his hammer transformed, it had his name on it, but they're saying he named it Alan.
Yeah, no,
Ryan died.
I think there's a difference between like what you name the weapon and like your name being like carved into it. I think your name gets carved into it when you activate the full potential of it, and then you can just name it whatever you want like after the fact. You know what I mean? Because like they make a point to say like, Semiyu was holding her power back with her ability and never like carved her name into it, but now she's going to be, so that she can like use her full power to look into the future, which would have like an insane recoil drawback. So there was a reason why she like hadn't like activated it all the way yet or something like that. But I think that
Yeah,
unconsciously, like Folo, given like the direness of the situation and like all of the emotions involved, like didn't have like that conscious ability to like, or I mean, I guess just like the circumstances like made him go all out, and like his name got carved into the weapon like automatically, Whereas
So
like, yeah,
I wonder if it's something that you can like reverse because like the way it sounds is like she's carved their name into her glasses before and looked into the future. Like he's worried like she's done it before, and it's like you can't do that shit. You might not be able to see again. It just it feels like something that he's familiar with. Like how
it
do you know
does.
that like she's gonna burn her eyes out like
The way that
if
I'm
she
kind
hasn't
of
done it?
like the way that I kind of interpreted it is that Engine is just like so experienced with anima and giving or like being a giver and like just like has like such a good understanding of like how powers kind of work historically that he can kind of assume what the recoil of a full powered semi-U ability like would be or whatever, and like it's kind of like a guess maybe because like I'm thinking that like when Semiyu's powers first activated, it was a little bit more of a casual situation than like Folo's where like everything was on the line. He was about to die. He absolutely needed the full power of whatever his capabilities would be, so it automatically carved his name into his weapon. Whereas like Semiyu or some other character might have like manifested their ability in a way that wasn't as like drastic of a situation, so it kind of like half manifested, and then the research that they do on anima and the power system in general like lets them know that you can later carve your name into the weapon to like achieve maximum like output of whatever your ability is like at a later time if it didn't automatically manifest in that way like Folos did, is kind of like
Mm,
how I'm like taking the takeaway that I have from it.
okay.
I like it because, like, some machines are simply not meant to operate at 100% capacity. Like biologically, they might blow a fuse in their eyeballs because the your cones weren't built to observe the future or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a hammer where it's like, yeah, you can just keep swinging the hammer as hard as you want, but like her shit is affecting her eyes, and it's like you use them eyes anymore, you gonna fuck them up. I do wonder, in this case though, she tells him she's like, and the boss can look at people like I do, so it's like how? Because I thought that was her ability to like look at people and kind of like sorting hat from Harry Potter type of deal, like oh yeah, your power is this, and like she can I can't remember fully like what her ability was. I could have swore it was like she can tell like their potential or something or what their ability is or something like that. I'll have to go back and look, but like to say that Corvus can also do what she do kind of makes me think that maybe Corvus is kind of siphoning off like a little bit of people's powers or something because it's like how can he do what she does?
Right. Like can he through some kind of activation of whatever his ability is like kind of like borrow someone else's power for short or a short period of time or any amount of time or whatever for per
Yeah.
activation or something. Yeah.
And it's like having Amo stay close to him, like putting Amo on the team that like is involved with him. It's like okay, so that if he can like use other people's powers, and that he basically gave himself the ability to manipulate people's memories and stuff through the sense. So it's like I really can't wait to find out what his power is, and if it's like last time I was saying, maybe the gloves are kind of like acting as like limiters for people, but like he wears gloves, so it's like what is he hiding? He's definitely hiding a lot from everybody, but like maybe some of you knows.
And like gloves have been traditionally a symbol of people hiding things in most story forms.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's why Rudo kind of stands out, and I like that's why the people initially assume he's a villain, not just his face, but like there's a why are you wearing gloves, kid?
yeah. He's got those scars on his arms, and they said that like his dad did too, or whatever, or he got them from his dad, or something like that. Something like that, where they like definitely thought he was a bad guy because of his hands and shit. And, I mean, they said he was the son of a murderer too, but then he covered him up.
Hmm.
But yeah, good chapter, good time spent in the bar between some of you and Engine. Nice to see these downtime moments like this. And then we get back to the crib. August is excited to give everybody their costumes and stuff. I can't wait to see what their outfits are gonna be.
Yeah, same.
This is a fun situation going to this doll festival and
It was
everyone's just
reminding
wearing a
me of
different.
like sorry, it was I just got the thought, it like reminded me of Kingdom Hearts, like when you go to like Nightmare Before Christmas like world or whatever, and how like you get like a different like outfit like for every like world that you go to that's like in keeping with you know, the vibe of the world you're going to or whatever. And I just remember like that world in Kingdom Hearts and being like, oh dude, cool fucking Halloween costumes. Or like whenever there's like a fucking Halloween like color page, like I remember Undead Unlucks and like everyone was like a werewolf or a mummy or a,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see it in this story because the art is insane here and the character designs are always so crazy. Like I know Kairon has got some shit for these costumes.
Yeah, can't wait to see it because you know, like when they make the character designs, they always try to like all just from default. It's like I want to make this character wear things that feel like they make sense for this character. Like a doctor is gonna have like a fucking stethoscope or whatever, and you know things like that. So they give these characters these items and objects on their clothes, and it's like. Well, I also want them to look like this because you know, as time goes on, I kind of imagine Rudo, you know, wearing this. So it's like, oh, cool. I want to see what like the updated vision of that is. And I guess August kind of started that with the new outfits that he gave. Like he gave Folo a new outfit or whatever, and I think everyone's supposed to be getting one, but they haven't worn those yet. But the costumes is cool. It's just I wonder, you know, is Rudo going to be a werewolf? He's probably going to be a Cerberus, honestly, because his last name is Cerberus backwards. So that
Oh,
he's probably going to get a Cerberus.
wait, who?
Rudo,
Root,
Sherbrek,
sure.
Cerberus.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
then,
I
so
didn't know
he,
that was Cerberus backwards.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and then he summoned that like
Bro.
The
remember in
gloves
the
might be like secondary hands, like if he does like a shadow puppet type deal with the hands, like through the
yeah,
dog.
I like it. I like it. And
That's
then
cool.
like in the arc with the what was the guy? I was about to say bank teller. The information broker, like when he got that box from him, he summoned like he turned the box into like Cerberus. It was a dog head or whatever. So yeah, there's some Cerberus stuff in this series. So he might have that as a as his Halloween costume. But we gonna see.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wait, does that mean Zodal might have like a bat based like like a underworld hell, like because there's like the bat hell in Aztec lore, and he bites into a bug and grows large wings. So like bats have wings and they eat bugs. So part of me is just like, is he like being reminiscent? It's like because like givers can draw out the power of associations from objects, but then the Watchmen series are special. So what is their thing?
Yeah.
Do you associate with that object so that it like grants power, like a reverse sort of thing? So like that might be part of it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
hard to say.
definitely interesting to kind of imagine what these costumes might look like based on what we know about these characters. And like I wonder if Zoda's gonna be there. Probably we will. But just you know, remembering from last chapter, looks like Zonka's homegirl is gonna be there, the chick that he like trained with or whatever, and she kind of outclassed him in every way. So she's gonna be there too, probably dressed up, and she's looking for something to stimulate her brain, her hippocampus. So she's she's about to cause some probably stir some shit up. That'll be interesting for Zonka getting. Zonka needs a W. I'm not saying Zonka's gonna beat her ass, but like Zonka needs a W against a human combatant because we've only seen him lose to Jabber twice.
Yeah. That's
And I
so
A
love
jabber
crazy.
to jabber.
I love Fu here at the end. He's he's so like shy and shit and silly. Like I can't wait until he becomes like more comfortable with being with the gang, and hopefully they don't kill him because that's the very Tamsy thing to do.
He I think that he a lot of attention's gonna be on Fu, and his eyes are very similar to like Elka and Efoye from Shangri-La. We were talking about like the fox eyes of
Yeah,
slyness and like suspicion. But I think that something bad is going to happen to Amo. I think Amo is going to have a hard time because she's saying, I've never been this excited about something. This seems like so much fun. The doll festival reminds me of Hina Matsuri,
ooh, I love
uh,
that series.
which is Doll's Day or Girls' Day. It's an annual festival in Japan that celebrates the health and happiness of young girls.
Yeah,
And didn't Tamsy say, to get Rudo back to his original role, I might just have to kill someone?
Yeah, Tansy, he's on a dark mission.
Yeah.
He's talking about bringing Rudo back to his original state or whatever he said. Yeah, if I'm gonna get Rudo back to his original role, it looks like I'm gonna need some kind of catalyst. The fuck is his role?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, it could be something related to the Watchmen series. Like, what if Rudo isn't actually wasn't originally alive? Like, what if Rudo was brought to life by the power of the Watchmen gloves? Like, the scars are from something that killed him,
Mm, that'd be crazy.
and I don't know. This series leaves a lot open. I like the speculation aspect. Like, sometimes it's just art aspects of it, like the eyes, and I'm like, okay, like is Rudo's eye rings less because it's easy to draw in this moment, or is it less because he has like normally has like X amount of rings, which happen to like coincide with the number of times he can activate his ability, and now that he's given one to follow, he has one less, or is that just you know
I need
convenience?
to I need to check that. Saying
There's
you said
I've been going back through chapters and it's like it's hard to tell because based on like the context or the focus, his eyes are drawn with two, three rings.
yeah, they change sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that's we're gonna have to keep an eye on and see if he ever does it again and like look at him after he uses his power, see if anything changes. But definitely a cool detail to possibly catch. I haven't seen anyone say anything about that.
So what if?
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool. Something that nobody's mentioned or thought of, and I mean, Rudo can't see his own eyes, so it might be happening. But yeah, this was a good chapter.
Great
Can't wait
chapter.
till new one's gonna be out tomorrow. Like new chapter is gonna be out like an hour after this review is live, so people. If they're here for Gachi, sorry, but just don't read it yet. If you made it this far, you probably already read the new chapter, but pretend you didn't and listen to us.
Oh, there's a new chapter
You know,
out right now.
yeah, like as
Oh, as the episode will be coming out.
yeah. As the
Mm,
episode is out, a new chapter will be coming out because Weekly Shonen Mag comes out like Tuesday at like
right,
10 a.m.
right.
So just pretend that you didn't read 132 and just let it ride, baby. Listen to us.
Yeah.
So
I know
I think
Party
I'm
Jams
squeezed.
will. Party Jams
Yeah.
likes to wait until he watches the show before he reads the new chappies.
Yeah, shout out
Be
to
like
Party
him.
James for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, be like that guy. Yeah, so I think I'm squeezed out for 131. What about you, Knox?
I'm good. I'm good.
Mellow?
Same.
All right, that's going to do it for Gachiakuta,
Uh-oh.
chapter 131, requesting leave. Uh, Now jumping into the final segment of our weekly Shonen magazine section, Ranger Reject chapter 172 and 173, but we'll start off at 172. The Super Ultra Sunday battle begins, and I guess I'll get it out of the way and say I don't personally think it's the final arc. I know some people were saying they feel like it is, but I still feel like there will be more after this. Not much more, but like maybe to give an example, maybe this is like Shibuya, and we'll get a mini arc and then a Culling Games, or maybe something, maybe like a medium sized arc after this. But this, I can see why people might think it's the end, but I don't
Right.
think it's going to be the end.
It can be like a final, like, big battle of the series, like a climactic point in like the action-based storytelling or whatever. But I definitely think that there's, still going to be storytelling afterwards that like kind of like ties up loose ends and wraps up dangling plot threads of any kind to just to make everything feel like complete and finished for real. I
Yeah,
definitely think that it's easy to assume that this is the last arc. Especially coming out of a story like Jujutsu Kaisen that you just brought up, where like the last big fight was the end of the story. So like
yeah,
if you're looking back at things like that, it's like, oh yeah, I could see it ending after this, but I just don't think it's that kind of series, and that there's just so much character stuff and world building stuff that just needs like a non-action based kind of arc to wrap up. after the
Yeah.
big final battle, in my opinion. But it could go either way. But I'm with you though.
Yeah. Mellow, did
I
you have any? Yeah.
I think that that's more towards what I'm leaning as well because like this series touches a lot on the stuff that people gloss over, whether it's like a personal anguish or just like general injustice, violence against others, like inequality and stuff. Like that gets glossed over a lot. So I think having a very transparent aftermath arc where it's like this is kind of an unvarnished look of like the good, the bad, the ugly, and the results thereof.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's satisfying to me. That is just my personal bias.
And I just see like, so Chidori, his plan is, be the big bad. Like, oh, I let the entire world, or everyone in the Milky Way city see that I've become the villain. He's playing this role, so he's become the bad guy, and everyone, they want he's threatening to destroy the world and kill all these people and harm civilians and stuff like that. And this is broadcasted on TV, and a lot of people are watching this, and it's like, okay, so he's making himself the bad guy, putting the target on his back. And I think that also puts him in a position where he can like disband the Rangers, and also like have maybe the invaders probably get forgiven, like if D is the one who deals the final blow or whatever. Like everyone, they're fighting and putting up a good fight against Chidori, but like D does it like kind of, and then he doesn't like go and kill anyone else. It kind of like removes the like evil, you know paint that everyone has on these invaders. Like like, yeah, the Chidori brought these like mindless. Well, wait, that's the next chapter. But anyway, Chidori's like trying to make himself the villain, and if he gets taken out by a villain who isn't being evil but is instead saving people's lives, like if we see D like saving someone from whatever Chidori does or whatever, that could go a long way for people like D, and also like Izome, who Shogo, the now Blue Ranger, he wants like Izome to be able to live her life without like having to look over her shoulder. So this is one way we can get to something like that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's fun. Chidori, he's following this script, I guess, that he got from Sane somehow, and it involves him doing this final, end of year celebration. He's got his sacrifices, and he's letting off fireworks. It's like a big party. He's got fucking fireworks going on. He's on stage. He's posing and shit. And somebody said he's in this suit because like that's what he wants to be buried in. Like before he transforms, he's wearing like a suit and tie and shit. So like he probably plans on dying here.
Yeah.
I dig it. I mean, it's just like wear your best clothes to the last gig, that kind of thing. As a musician, just
Yeah,
like rock out with your cock out kind of thing.
Type
for sure.
shit.
I the part that I thought was super interesting was the end of year celebration, and like that's very exciting, new beginnings. But uh 108, the 108th strike of the bell, it references like the Buddhist tradition, uh
Ooh.
where in Japan you will chime a bell 108 times to finish the old year and welcome the new one. Each ring represents one of the 108th earthly temptations a person must overcome to achieve nirvana,
Hmm.
specifically.
Okay. That's some knowledge I ain't have.
I like
And
that.
it's a cultural thing. I like it. It's a cultural thing. We love that. But
Yeah.
also, like 108, like applies to like Chinese martial arts. They talk about like there's 108 pressure points in the body. It's attached to karate and like Chinese martial arts, and like uh, the fact that like even in math, it's an Achilles number. 108 is a powerful number, but not a perfect power. Uh, but the
I just went
thing.
back.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I just went back to make sure there wasn't anything in chapter 108 that might have been significant. It was the chapter where D got his leg crushed.
Ooh. Yeah. Uh, there is something, I'll just bring it up during the next chapter because I feel like it applies to both those chapters overall as a whole.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, this one, everyone's just kind of like, shocked that Chidori is doing this. All the other battalions are like, is he for real? And the new Sosei clone is. I forgot for a second, like when I saw him, and he's like, "This is so sad." The Green Keeper has betrayed the name of justice, and I was like, "Damn, Sosei um, is putting on an act." But I forgot that there was a clone, so the last original Sosei is still like out there, the hobo Sosei, and then this is the one that like uh, Shinya used to replace hobo Sosei. So
Mm.
I'm guessing we're gonna see fucking Red Keeper versus Sosei soon, and that'll be exciting
Oh
if
yeah.
he shows up here. And then just we see all these characters again. It's always nice when a bunch of characters. It's another big arc. So we got three-way battle, and here we are. We in another big arc with all the parties, and all the battalions are here to battle with fucking Chidori's ass, and he at the end of the chapter, he lays out fucking Usakuba, flattens her with that fucking hammer.
That was so crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy fucking 1-2 punch getting both of these chapters like back to back. Like this chapter came out 2 weeks ago. It just was like late or whatever because they
Mhm.
didn't like get to it, and then it came out like a day, or they came out at the same time. Like I remember V dropped both of them in the chat or something.
It
So
was
we
a
got
good binge, let me tell you. Great binge.
yeah, great stuff. And like the banter with Green Battalion here, where Usakubo and Hisui go up to Green, and they're like, you really doing this? And he's like, bro, you really calling me a traitor, Usakubo, after you betrayed the Rangers? And Hisui's the only one who like stuck to her shit. She never like fucking wavered in any fucking way. And he's like,
I
don't.
think that she's the heroine of the story, really. Like, if
Yeah,
this was, it is a story, but like meta, like, I think that from the humanity side, she would be the main protagonist in the end. Like, the only reason we have D as the main protagonist is because it's, from his perspective for the most part.
yeah. Yeah, she's a great character, and he even tells her like, "Don't waver. You've done nothing wrong." So like, he knows what he's doing is bullshit, but like, he's got to put on this act. He's got to be the bad guy. He's got to sacrifice himself and make everyone else. He's gonna make everyone else look better, but like, I'm guessing his goal is to take down the Rangers as a whole, which it's really interesting because that's also what like the Neos wanted to do. Like, and like Hibiki, his thing was like taking down the Rangers from inside, but then he decided to do it another way by making his own Ranger force. And then D wants to take down the Rangers, and now Chidori is taking down the Rangers. And I want to see where they all collide because like Hibiki doesn't like what he's doing, and it can't be just because of Chocobo being up there. It's like it's not just because that he's gonna kill an invader that like became friendly. Like there's got to be more to it with this plan that we don't know, that Hibiki doesn't want to happen.
I mean, he was head of the intelligence gathering aspect. Like, I think that he is a very sly individual and is sort of a trickster. And I feel like you were mentioning, a lot of this is showy. There's fireworks, all this stuff. And he's dragging all these groups that have been in hiding, drawing them to him. So part of me is like, what's he doing there? And then like, is this going to be where he forces them all out into the open into like an unscheduled Sunday battle that is off the script, and that way he can catch them like maybe he has the lizard or his other spy gear scattered around the area, and he's like catching some of their like commentary. Like maybe there's like a video file where Sose Akabane's being recorded saying, "Whoever kills Greenkeeper can be the new Greenkeeper."
Yeah,
Like I feel like that's the goal, because even Hisui is just like, "You sure about this?" And he's like, "Don't waver, do it. This is what you need to do. Like, take me out."
yeah,
And I
you got
feel
to
like
do it.
he's laying himself out as a trap.
Yeah, I need to, man, I can't wait until we find out like why he feels the need to operate in this way for whatever goal he kind of has here. Like, is he trying to like use the spectacle of this entire situation to get a certain point across to society? by like, you know, dressing up whatever his motivations are with this like theatrical display of like good versus evil, or like, you know, what's the underlying like message here, like what's the philosophical like underpinning of like his logic in this arc and in this time in the story right now is like my biggest question.
Yeah, I want to see what that script was about and like what his like true relationship to Sane was, because we never knew, like, were they just friends? Was it his wife, his girlfriend? Like, did he, because she was like engaged or married to the previous greenkeeper and had a kid with him, and then he was taking care of Chidori was taking care of her, or hiding her or something in that house in the woods, and then she ended up in the slums, and then she died. Well, she was killed thanks to Shinya. So it's like we never got to find out what the relationship between Chidori and Sane was, and he's like going all out to do this end of the world plan, for her. And it's like if they fail, like if they don't defeat him, like is he really gonna blow up the world? Is he on some shit like they killed? But like, what if they're sisters? And it's like, okay, you really don't stop me, then I'm just gonna. My sister, wrote this story to have the world end, and you guys aren't worthy. This world isn't worth protecting anymore. If someone like her can, be murdered or some shit.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot there. I can't wait to find out what the deal is with him and Sane. Um, But yeah, he doing that shit. I wasn't expecting him to fucking slam Usakubo in this chapter.
Yeah, that's so wild, bro. He really
Yeah.
docked her with the hammer to the body, bro.
Yeah, and even Shinya's like, "Whoa, kind of good at this shit." Like he was like bored at first, and then he saw that, and his eyes lit up, and it's like the evil Shinya's like, "Okay, this kind of doing it, man."
Yeah.
Entertaining that little
I
shit.
wonder what Fishport means. Is that like a location we've been to before? It, or is that like a reference to like the old Blue Keeper's ability? Like I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking it might just be the location of this yeah, this like venue or whatever, because like even like it's under the clock, and then on the page where you see Sosei standing with the other two red battalion people, the pillar under him is, it says Fishport on it too.
Yeah. It might be a real location. I do wonder about that because like a lot of authors tend to do that. Or is
Yeah.
this Fishport because like this is the bait?
Oh wow, that'd be
Or a
something.
feeding frenzy? I don't know.
Fishport, Japan. Nah, nothing comes up. Nothing immediately. Huh. Yeah, just some sort of concert type venue. They got like Ferris wheels and shit. So he's playing it up. They're having a big old celebration for the new year at Fishport. But I think that'll do it for this chapter. The other one's more meaty. Y'all ready to jump into the next one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it for 172. Now jumping into Ranger Reject chapter 173, Resurrection, and this one was a bit crazier.
Yeah.
um we
That double page
fucking
spread gave me a erection. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
yeah, bro. That doubles page spread. I fucking my jaw was dropped, and I literally just sat there and looked at it for like 3 to 5 minutes, because what the fuck do you
Yeah.
mean?
Just screaming, crying, and throwing up.
Bro,
I love
blood.
Polypon in the background. Just
I
like,
Bro,
know
yeah!
Yato was
he's
lit when he saw that
he's the
man,
best,
dude.
man. He's just so fun, he's just, everything he does is great. And then like later he was it like 2 or 3 pages later, he's like on top of another like pillar or so. He's like standing on a pole again, just like he was when he was like recording Chidori fighting somebody in the last big arc. So it's like he likes going up on these places, but like these some of these are new designs.
Yeah.
And
Like, and some of them are not like
I feel like
yeah, like
Peltrola looks different. Like he's
so
like dark Peltrola now.
so I think these are not the same guys. I think they're
Right.
like negative versions or like shadow executives or something, because Peltrola is still alive.
Right. Isn't it just like a situation where like, somebody like injected themselves with like the juice or whatever and like became these executives?
That could be the case, yeah. But like we hadn't seen it for living executives when it happened.
Oh, right.
Like like Peltrola, we know he's still in that space because Shion wanted Cezanne to throw him back in Juji to throw him back in there so that he could fight Peltrola after Peltrola kind of got zapped in the Magatia space or whatever. But like um fucking negative Magazzi is here. We got Andrega's back, and it's like a spider, and it's like some of these were not part of the Zodiac, like um like Wallypon. He was the horse executive, but
Hmm.
this guy to the right
Yes.
of Peltrola looks more like a horse than he
Yeah,
does.
he kind of does.
So I think he's the dog. So there was a
Oh,
couple other ones. Let
the
me see.
Dorg?
Ranger
Yeah,
Reject.
he looks like the dog. I recognize Toto Mask, the boar, the big fluffy dude that does like the size manipulation. We got Magatia.
Yeah,
We got the tiger. Is that one? I believe
That's
yeah,
that's the
the
one
one
that
with shapeshifter.
that's the one that scarred
Andrega, yeah,
that's the one that scarred
yeah,
Blue Keeper back in the day, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, Andrega. And then like we got three new ones. So we got a spider, we got this dog, and like we got a fucking aura farming dude back here. And it's like, I don't know what the fuck he on
with
the
the
left.
with the
Like,
fucking frilly cloak and shit.
yeah, it's
The
like we
spawn looking dude, yeah.
Yeah, he
yeah,
looks
we
like
can't even like
Spawn.
oh my god, yeah.
Here
Spawn
to drag you
executive.
to hell.
Yeah.
Yo.
And so like I was thinking like maybe some of these are replaced because like I don't like initially, they went with the whole Chinese Zodiac 12 animals thing, but like he names Yulimura the cat, the 13th executive, and then like in the Shinya flashback, there was that one executive that was at the lab that got the shit beat out of him by a Sosei clone. So it's like there doesn't have to be just 12 executives. I think they can go, more. They just only had 12 at the time and just kind of gave them that like, naming convention or whatever. Like we're going to name them all, they're going to be the 12 zodiacs or whatever, but
Yeah,
they
I mean, that's just keeping the script. I feel like the rest were just kept in reserve as quote unquote fillers because,
yeah.
I mean, they even recycled all those failed projects into the dusters.
Yeah. And then like Izome became an executive too, and like they didn't give her an animal or anything. Like she's just Izome. I mean, we haven't seen her in a while and don't know if we will again, but still, like the executives don't have to all follow this pattern or whatever of being one of the zodiacs. But like Spider, like I was saying I think these are some new executives, and I think some people were saying they think it's the same ones. Like maybe the spider might be like the dragon or something. And I
Or
don't think
like the
that's the case.
monkey.
Yeah, or like because like the originals. Let me see. I got it pulled up. The seven executives
But he's
destroyed by the Dragon Keepers were identified as boar, which was totem as dog, dragon, ox, rat, and goat and tiger. And then the ones that were still alive were rooster, snake, horse, monkey, which is Chocobo, the guy that's up on the
yeah,
cross,
the
and
candy monkey.
Yakekuka, which is the rabbit. So like some of these don't fit. Like there's too many. Like there's too many for it to be 12. So I think he probably just created some for this for this event. Like this spider guy and the spawn dude. Like what the fuck are they?
Yeah, I
That's a
wonder.
And then they don't talk. Like some of these characters, like I definitely think that they're like perfect versions. Like he probably like perfected the serum or whatever for this event, and it's like they're fucking hollowed out versions of themselves. They don't talk. They don't have dialogue. They just fight. Because like some of these characters are fucking yappers. Like Peltrola, fucking Magatia, fucking Lollipop. Like these motherfuckers do not shut up. They
Right.
they they talk a lot. They're like they don't say shit here. Uh like Andrigo, like when it fought Blue back in the day, like it was a yapper, and like here it's not saying anything, and like he's like after all the executive Andrigo was already killed by Alshima, and it's not saying anything. It's just like getting big and screaming or whatever. But it doesn't say any words. These guys, if they were really them, they would be saying like,
They'd be
fuck you
talking
guys, we're back.
crazy shit right now,
Yeah,
especially Peltrola's self-aggrandizing ass.
Yeah, Peltrola would definitely say something, and he wouldn't just be like walking among. I feel like he would be like floating somewhere, like he just feels like he's above everyone.
Well, I mean, how is Chidori getting these guys to work for them, or are they also fakes? And if they are fakes, what are they really? Because,
Yeah,
like, is there a reason for why he chose them? Like, they don't talk, but he's like, are these like people or things that are like valuable and hard to replace? And he's like, I need a force like a ranger or anything that can kill an executive to destroy these things. And because like when we see one get offed by Cat, the domesticated executive,
that's
they
Rabbit. That one's Rabbit.
oh
The
shoot.
the cat is
Oh, Yunamadura is
yeah.
Kubo. There we go. I'm getting all mixed up. There's a lot going on in the
Yeah.
series. Uh, it makes me wonder if they're like, because like the letters on the clock crumble, and I'm just like, what does that
Yeah,
mean?
when he said you got to destroy the clock face, and they just like ran up on it, like so we just blow that shit up, and it's like no, like when you beat one of these executives, like the corresponding like number to them like explodes on the clock face, so it's basically saying
Yeah.
like you got to beat all 12 executives or something like that, which is just like
Yeah.
a really cool like symbol I think for what's going on here.
But even then,
Yeah.
like he only came with 8, so it's like
Yeah,
where are the other 4 executives? Are they Chocobo and fucking Usakubo and
Does he have them
Yakuka?
hiding?
Huh?
Does he have them hiding in reserve or
Yeah, like
something?
are they hiding, or is it like all of the known executives that exist plus these guys? Like, are they all counted? Like, Speltrola's not here, the real Peltrola, but like he only brought 8, and there's 12 clock numbers or whatever. So yeah.
Oh, do you think that Fishport references the island that Shinya first ran into in like the major flashback? Because they had the diced up fish in the cloning facility. So is this place the cloning facility, and that's why he has access to these executives right away?
Well, the cloning facility is it became the floating island. I'm pretty sure because it was shaped like it.
But yeah, like once it like, but that's the shell of it. So what they do with the guts, the machinery, all the whole operations? Did they move it deeper into the city?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like this is just probably just like nothing like too significant. I mean, it might be, but I feel like this is just probably yeah, just a area like a theme park, like a King's Dominion or a Six Flags or something.
Hmm, that's
And
fair.
they got like a stadium and they got like Ferris wheels and stuff. But we don't know where what all Chidori knows and where he's been. But he was obviously able to pull up, drag 8 executives or more to come and fight, and they are interesting. Like, what the fuck is this spider gonna do? The spider one is really freaking me out because like a spider, bro. Like,
yeah, what the hell?
and it looks kind of like the fusion, like its face, like it's got the fucking the like white flame eyes when it zooms in on it or whatever. And
Yeah,
then Wendy is here too. Like Wendy in what page 10, when Yukino is like, I'm done being a Kuroko, and she runs into Wendy as he's looking out the window and still convinced that he's Imamatai. So that was another one. So yeah, Imamatai. And then, if we're trying to add up to 8, we got Imamatai, Chocobo's on the cross. Yeah, Keiko Cobb is fighting. She just killed fucking Magatia, and then Usakuba. So that's 4. That's 4 executives plus the 8 that he brought. So that would, if all 12 of them died, that would equal 12. But is he does his plans incorporate like Usakubo in it, like Yula Merida and Wendy? Like I feel like that's too big of a plan to assume that he's like assuming other characters aren't going to be there, or maybe that's part of the plan. It's like there's they get down to the final one. It's like there's one last executive that you guys have to kill, otherwise Doomsday is going to come. And it's like the last guy is Wendy, and he's like 2 towns away, and he's not going to show his face. So it's like kind of like a Batman and Joker situation where he's like, you got to find out, you got to go to the location to save the girl, and he goes to the wrong one type of deal. It's a lot going on.
hell yeah.
Yeah. I do wonder what it's gonna be because like I wondered if like maybe the 12 hours were tied to the zodiac, but the snake is the sixth position, and the exploding letter number is a 5. So that means it's not tied to just the zodiac. The zodiac does include a dragon. So is Chidori the last thing that needs to die to destroy the clock face? And I don't know, the way he was kind of goading Hisui, I feel like that might be the case.
Yeah. Very, very surprised that Yuli Merida was the cat though, because she does not look like a cat at all.
Yeah, it's like an owl bear, dude. Like a
Yeah.
crazy looking.
I was thinking the cat just came in because like we've seen her die or at least take damage, so maybe it's like a 9 lives thing because like fucking Chidori hit her hard as fuck. So I would assume that that would kill most people, and so maybe she did die, and this that just used up one of her lives. And also, like in the flashback with the Akushi, Yuli Marietta took like a lot of damage from I want to say Chocobo and Red Keeper. So it's like maybe she's died, like 4 or 5 times already, and just has
Yeah.
a small number of lives left.
Like a bundle of life force to keep coming back.
Yeah,
Um, I wondered if they were nicknamed cat because like even though cats are apex predators, like an executive, they are domesticated. They are that like Yula Madera was considered like the most passive of the executives and therefore a failure. And like I wonder if the name comes from that, where it's like an apex predator is now a cuddly house cat.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Just we'll get more soon, but yeah, I was not expecting this vicious beheading of Magatia. I
Yeah, that was
mean, I'm here
wild.
for it.
The
Yeah, I'm
portal
here.
beheading,
Guillotine.
the portal guillotine was crazy.
Yeah,
Love me portal guillotines. Those are
Yeah.
so good.
Like
I
it
love
reminded
her.
me of like Nove in Hunter x Hunter when he was like placing the portals outside of the Ant King palace before the raid, and like he got snuck up on by like 2 like ants or whatever, and he's like, "Uh-oh," and he like ran up on one, like used the ability scream, like put a small portal above his head and then like teleported it to the 4D mansion. It was like fucking sliced his shit off. I was like, "Bro, that shit is fucking broken, dude." Like
Yeah,
if that nigga linked with fucking Melioron and like they use perfect plan in tandem with Scream, like he could have one shot the entire royal guard and the king that way probably. Like how do you fight that?
that's when people yell plot armor and shit when they write a character out. It's like, okay, you got an ability like that.
Yeah.
Let's give you a weak heart or like a fucking a sore throat, so you got to go home early. You can't be out here, bruh.
But it was done so well in Hunter x Hunter because like he had to be in Zetsu in order to like sneak around the palace without being detected, and that like plus the fact that uh Poof like expanded his end to like scan the palace while Pito was like healing the king's arm. So he was like butt naked when he ran into like a really strong like Nen force, and that like aged him like fucking 60 years or some shit. All of his hair fell out. He had like a crazy, like traumatizing, like mental breakdown just from like feeling the pressure of that Nen butt naked. So it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Anyway,
I do wonder. So like Yakeiko, her power was the fucking portals, but Chocobos was like the fucking monkey see monkey do not monkey see but like see no evil type shit. So he would like say see not or breathe not. So he could. I wonder if his powers are limited, like if he's got some kind of like restriction or limiters or fucking sea stone handcuffs on or some shit. Because like he could just straight up tell Chidori to stop breathing and it would happen. But like maybe he's just unconscious or something. He's up on his cross. He's a powerful character. So it's
yeah,
like, how the fuck do you get someone like him up there and not like lose your life?
yeah, definitely some kind of inhibitor, like power inhibitor going on in some to some degree. I want to say,
And it's like save these guys. And it's like you stop Chidori and you save Yellow Keeper, and Yellow is a piece of shit.
yeah,
Especially this one.
evil
So
Shinya.
I have a color theory
Ooh,
Okay.
attached to the Rangers, the cast as a whole. Um, so the executives, they're based off the Chinese zodiac. With the 108, you see that being tied to martial arts, and you seeing in the next chapter, uh, uh, Runa like just doing kind of like they got this whole like wushu master kind of like gestures going on.
Ooh.
I think that they go deeper in borrowing from Chinese culture. I believe that Ranger Reject utilizes concepts from Peking opera with the colored faces of Peking opera because
Mm.
I've got it broken down.
Let's hear it.
so so it every time in there is uh black is impartial nature and decisiveness, which is embodied by D, and perhaps these new executives a little bit, and they're also associated with the mob, but that's also represented by the Kuroko. And
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh.
Kuroko are the reason why I got down this whole rabbit hole, right? Because they're nicknamed the stagehands. And so my brain shifted from TV to like performance theater.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know much about like any of the ukiyo-e type like oh kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not my bag. Peking opera
Bruh.
is also not
Yo,
like
dun dun.
the deepest of my bag. And I know they're both two separate cultures, but to be honest, Japan and China have a lot of give and take, and they have a lot of antagonistic feelings towards each other over generations and stuff.
Yeah.
And isn't that kind of similar to the story as well?
Yeah, dude.
There is a lot of give and take. There's pink. Pink is associated with elegance, grace, dignified standards of behavior, which is very fitting for the outward facing pink battalion, and they shove off all their other stuff to the Kuroko.
Wow.
Red is associated with fire, bravery, and good fortune, which Sosei has all of that considering Yamato Orochi and how often those early clones failed, and he's a success. And D's Sakurama form is a redhead.
Hold
So great.
on.
Good
Yeah.
fortune, winning through sheer luck, and the skin of their teeth. Like there's levels of that. There's
Oh,
green,
this is
which
so
is
exciting.
associated with chaos, bravery, stubbornness, both of tricksters and brutal despots, of viciousness and capriciousness, which sums up Chidori's whole, hey, I don't hold back, but I also decide what I want on a whim. It sends a like the idea of like betrayers as whether harmless tricksters or like true deadly betrayals. They are beings of chaos, and that's what they embody. And D was a betrayer embedded within the Green Battalion.
Yeah.
Even Hisui mentions, "Man, is Green Battalion cursed or something? We've got all these traitors." Blue represents trustworthiness, forward looking, ferociousness. Old Aoshima, Old Blue embodied that, and all his subordinates are vicious as hell.
Yeah.
Like, they are, proactive. Yellow, as you can probably guess, represents cunning, ambition, a devious, calculating nature, and Yellow Keeper's whole arc declaring the project is worth any and all sacrifices kind of suits that. White is associated with death, mistrust, mourning, and antagonistic malevolence within the story. And who is the antagonistic malevolence? The cadets, the executives. They represent the opposing force, and they also are represented by death because a lot of death was made to take the executives, and the cadets die quickly. There's a lot of mourning, like "you killed my friend," that kind of thing. And then black is also black and white is embodied by the Neo Rangers, having this death mourning, like the real Sakurama mourning all this stuff, all of the Invader Rights Association people teaming up, and like they had a white out vibe when they were like being led by the cult leader, so they've grown and now they've become more impartial with like their black suits with like white accents because they're still an antagonistic force.
I like it.
I love that shit, man. You're
They're
cooking right now.
Yes, and Peking Opera always has 4 fixed main roles, and every arc, as far as I am aware of, has that baked in. I'd have to do a deep read to confirm, But there's the Sheng, the man, who represents the young or old man, which can be distinguished from or which could be distinguished from their beard. There's the Dan, woman, who has 6 types of roles, ranging from the virtuous girl to the old woman. There's the Jing, the painted face, who is a character often wearing a mask and who has the most assertive personality. He often represents a god, a general, or a mandarin. And the Cho, the clown, who is a comic figure, a jester, who wears a white makeup stain on his face.
Oh, is that Tokita?
Uh, the Cho, and the thing is, these roles can shift. The person fulfilling that role can shift. Think about it. D is often the Cho, the clown, in most of these arcs, where he is a black faced, not black faced, God.
Gotcha.
He's got the white, but it's like little skull face. It would be considered the white makeup stain on his face.
Right.
And he often plays the fool. And then also the real Sakurama literally dresses up as a clown.
Yeah.
There is, and then the painted face is the general, a god, a mandarin. Is that Sosei Akabane, where he often prefers to wear, because he's got the pretty boy face, but he's also likes wearing the mask. But then he can also become the man. Hisui is classically one of the Dan. And then like Sen is the Dawn, and like there's these different levels where like this rotating cast will fit in that formula. And that's just solid, classically tried, time-tested storytelling.
That's so fucking sick, dude.
Some
Yeah.
deep diving right there.
Bro, I
on a spiral.
need V to peep this episode and talk about this shit with us. V, dude. Need to know your thoughts on this. Yeah, we definitely pinging him.
Yeah, because I've never. I mean, people might be talking about it in like the Ranger Court or whatever, but I haven't been in there too deep. But I feel like I would have heard something like this before if people were talking about it. But yeah, it's crazy stuff. It's a lot of stuff that makes sense there.
Yeah, and before the "it's not that deep" crowd comes in to fuck everything.
Nah,
it's like even Shinya in the previous chapter 172 states, "Oh, Greenkeeper, you're finally getting into your role. What a lovely role you're fitting into." Like they say that so many times. It's like, yes, it could be not that deep, but what if it is?
But it could like work.
Isn't it richer for that?
Yeah, it definitely is, and this is like what I love about like analysis in this kind of like setting that we have here right now, because like it could work on like multiple fronts. You know what I mean? Like there are like double entendres used in like fictional storytelling like all of the time. You know what I mean? Like the role that in the dialogue for Shinya that you're talking about right now could be related to the role of the story and the theatrics of like the Ranger versus, you know, executive like invader storytelling that the series is kind of based on, but like could also be a secondary link to the analysis that you're kind of, you know, drawing parallels to inside of you know, Chinese theater or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you never know like what inspires or influences an author's like writing, and they don't have to like, you know, have it be obvious and on the nose and spoon fed to you. It's something that is cool to notice if you like, you know, fuck with the series enough to like deep dive it in a way where you can draw parallels like that. Like we've been doing this in every medium of storytelling for centuries, you know, but for some reason when it comes to manga, you know, surface level Twitter or surface level internet loves to come around and try to make you feel bad for, you know, spending more time with a series and loving it so much that you can like find things like this inside of them that they couldn't.
Another thing,
I think that Twitter's biggest problem is that they believe that like judging something it implies a value, and like let go of the idea of cringe, just be happy, just enjoy things. But like also like this happens in a lot of things. Like recently I was talking about how people were upset about the new Harley Quinn being a scratch and sniff comic and having like fart kink jokes. But like at the same time, this bitch made a career of gassing people to death. I don't want gas chamber jokes.
Right.
Like, thank you for choosing farts to add some levity. Like this is part of this is like Venom, a character getting redeemed and revitalized and fleshed out beyond the, you know, I'm a victim or whatever stuff. Like that's great. good for them. But most people have never been into like characters like Harley Quinn outside of like when she seduced Nightwing
Yeah.
and then forward and like watching a few of the movies. Like they don't know half of these old comic stuff. And I'm not saying fake nerds gatekeep, but like, you know, I also genuinely think that uh media analysis used to be literary analysis, and I think that like it sometimes just is deeper. Everything is interconnected. Culture, observation,
For sure.
regurgitation of art and story, it's all connected. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
Luckily, the people I think that would be watching this segment that read Ranger Reject are not the type of people to say it's not that deep. I feel
Yeah.
like people that fuck with Ranger Reject enough to listen to a segment about it, they know they're in there and they're gonna be fucking with it. They're not gonna be like, nah, it's too deep. I don't
I
think anyone's
appreciate
like that.
you.
Yeah, but something I did just think about too is like another thing when you add to Shinya is Shinya was a writer, so he might also just be aware of what you were saying, like how Chidori is trying to play into that role of that certain type of character from I think you said like Chinese literature term, like their four act
Peking
structure.
opera, yeah.
Yeah, so Shinya may be like fully aware because he is a writer. He knows, he's a professional writer, so he might be fully aware of this Peking opera and like
Exactly. Like,
he's probably like, yo, you're doing a good job at like this role, and like Shinya knows that like
yeah.
Chidori hasn't lost his mind. He knows that Chidori is following a script that no one else, like Chidori he didn't tell the world that he found a secret phantom script that like is gonna be the final episode.
Yeah.
Shinya knows. So
Yeah.
Shinya is aware of like what really is going on in his head. Shinya probably doesn't know what the like final script is, but he is a writer and he knows Sane was an incredible writer and he knows that Chidori has the script from an incredible writer. And it's like, yeah, you're doing a great job playing this role from this Peking opera thing. So I think it all fits. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, one of
I
the most
mean,
important
like,
things that a writer can do is like familiarize themselves with like the history of like storytelling, you know what I mean, and like fictional storytelling inside, like if you're writing a story and you're coming up with something from scratch, like I was saying a minute ago, like inspiration and influence can come from literally anything, and you don't have to specifically state where those influences and inspirations directly come from. You can leave that up to the audience to interpret for themselves. They might be right, they might be wrong, but like that's a part of the game, you know what I mean? Like that's like
Yeah.
the fun of this kind of thing, is going like, okay, we know that this writer has to have read a ton of books or a ton of manga at the very least, you know what I mean? But like it doesn't have to stop there. Like, and it can extend to any other medium of fictional storytelling, including performance art, like stage plays, like from culture to culture, you know what I mean? Like you just don't know, but it's a lot of fun trying to guess at the end of the day. So anyone that
Yeah.
tries to like anyone that tries to kind of like dampen that, or like make you feel bad about like looking deep into things like that, is just a fucking loser to me.
Agreed.
Ursula Le Guin, the author, had a very similar thing. He's like, hey, the writer that sets out to write sci-fi because they think it's easy is only going to produce stuff that we've already seen. People that love and know a genre, know the alien space, know the clunky but dependable spaceship. They know the hotshot driver with doomed intentions. They know the alien that seems to be incomprehensible but knows they got their back. Like, uh, you know,
Yeah.
people are genre aware. Star Wars isn't new. We know that it's based off like Japanese samurai stuff, and that's why bad things happen to relatives, and why those relatives matter. Like that is the keystone of space opera in the modern day. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just like you just got to know your genres. That's all.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chidori would be a genre aware. He runs a a pomp and circumstance like fake of violence. So like yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm getting close to that point for this chapter. There's one other thing I really wanted to say, and it was just that Sosei suited up and he shouldn't be able to. So maybe
Oh yeah, what's up with that?
yeah, maybe I'm thinking that something fishy is probably going on there. So maybe he is a more perfect version because they were trying to make human dragon, divine dragon. So maybe he is an even more perfect version of Sosei and he doesn't need a weapon to suit up or something. Because we didn't see him with a weapon, and we know that Suzukiri has, you know, almost all of the weapons, so he shouldn't be able to do this, but did. But yeah, we didn't see enough. Like we didn't get a full body shot of him. We just see his back as he's transforming in front of Shadow Peltrola. So next chapter is going to be very interesting.
Hell yeah.
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 So what if this is a tie-in? Because this seems like to be the climactic final. Is this a tie-in to Death Messiah? Because Death Messiah is also associated with fire, strength, cloning, elasticity, command of the heavens, which is like the Dragon Keeper stuff. And remember, they had golfing as a skill, and a golf club was in the very first thing next to Sosei Akabane's dragon tool.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to say that he is Death Messiah, but like at the same time, these hybrids, these executives were all built off something, and did they ever succeed in that?
If he becomes the Death Messiah, I'll scream.
Oh my god.
If he just fucking hulks out and just fucking like
It's my Hail
overloads.
Mary. It's my Hail Mary bet of like, if this pays off, I've won $1 billion. If I lose, I lost $2.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still a lot that has to happen. Like, cause like D isn't here, and then you know Suzukiri isn't here, and just there's some characters who aren't here, and there's still stuff that people want to do. So even you know, I like going back to the very beginning of the segment. I don't think this is the final arc, but I think it's one of the final arcs. So we probably at most have one more big arc, and at the very least, I think when this ends, there will be like another small arc or two. We might not end on a major, you know, climactic battle, but I don't think this is ending. Like I feel like this arc might go 20 plus chapters, but I don't think the story will end when it ends. But also these executives are kind of getting wiped out because like she chopped off Magatia's head like instantly. So I don't think these guys are going to get much show. It's probably just for spectacle and like the ones that we didn't see much of. Like we saw Magatia fight like 2 times now. So yeah, it makes sense to cut him out. But like the spider, we might see the spider do something. We might see the fucking dog do something. We might see Spawn do something. But like Total Mask and Magatia and Peltrola might get wiped off like in the same chapter that they do anything in. So I'm expecting the arc to go for probably about 20 chapters, but I'm definitely not thinking that this is the end.
Yeah.
No, penultimate at best.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think I am squeezed out for this chapter. What about you, Knox?
Oh, I'm super good. That was such a good conversation, you guys. Wow.
Chunky,
I had
super
to get it
girthy.
off my chest. Thank you for letting me have this.
Real girth. You fucking
Hell
killed
yeah.
that shit. I fucking loved that breakdown, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm gonna go back to that, and whenever I get back to making Ranger videos, because some of that shit is going in there.
Hell yeah.
But you got anything else, Mellow?
Just a minor thing that Peking Opera uses strong lines and shapes to help differentiate players on the stage. And you're looking at like the red cadet with his eyes and face markings looking kind of similar to Toto Mask, the boars, diamonds as well. And I think that there's like hard lines, strong shapes, that kind of thing. And I think that's part of executive stuff. So that kind of lends itself to my theory.
Hell yeah.
That's
Okay. Well, that is going to do it for chapter 173 of Ranger Reject. If you guys got any comments, let us know down below. That's going to do it. Resurrection. Now, jumping into our final portion of segments of the night with our weekly Shonen Jump batch of chapters. We have Ichi the Witch, 27th Hunt, Most Wanted. And before jumping into it, just wanted to talk about last week's episode. You guys were talking about Bakugami or whatever, and I don't know how I feel now, but Weeb had said that the person that we saw was like Bakugami's like inner voice or something, and I
True
disagreed at
form,
first.
like,
Yeah, their true form, and I disagreed. I was saying I think that is actually just a person who has like weaseled their way up inside Bakugami because like it grew and grew and grew, and it got to a big size, and like it's big enough for someone to like crawl up into its nose or whatever. And you know, magics are fucking not regular, like so it's not a real elephant or whatever. Tapir, is that how you say it? Taper or whatever. So it's not a real one, and so it's like, yeah, it's not gonna have fucking guts inside. It's gonna have magic-y goodness, fucking Lucky Charms and stuff. So it's like I could see a character going inside and like hiding and like nobody ever finding out because like this is their god. Who would be so crazy as to like look inside its nose to find out a person is living in there?
Yeah.
That's my thought process. But like
After this
with
chapter, you're
this,
like, hold on.
yeah, with this chapter, the person is like, who dares attack me, and I still was kind of like, okay, maybe maybe it is really Bakugami, but like this person could also just be like, who the fuck is hitting my house kind of deal. So I'm still not super sold that like
Yeah.
that's the inner, voice of Bakugami. I think that's a person who is in there and they can like go and grab them, but
I think
I
that
don't know.
I still think that like I'm not, like it feels a little obvious that this character inside of Bakugami is the actual Bakugami, but like there's still this like slight feeling that I have that this could just be another magic that has hijacked Bakugami and is influencing it, or just like parasitized it, or in some kind of like maybe symbiotic relationship to like influence it in some kind of way. And like once this character is defeated, I can see like the normal Bakugami, like, or the original Bakugami, like being like, "Oh, thank you for expelling that motherfucker from inside of me. Like I wasn't trying to do all of that bullshit. I swear." Like I could just see that being like kind of like a twisty like rug pull like later on down the line, while we're supposed to think that this is like the true form of Bakugami. So that idea is always going to be in the back of my mind until it's confirmed otherwise. But I think that I still am leaning more towards, after this chapter, I'm leaning more towards the idea that this actually just is like true form Bakugami for now.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
possibility is still there for me.
The writing of like they've that's the first time they've attacked me with magic made me think that it was Bakugami. And like the ears are kind of reminiscent as well. Um,
Okay.
but if we're going with the they are parasite style, what's an obvious parasite that this guy's like aesthetic kind of embodies? Like I'm just looking at that, I was like, I recognize Gokoraku, but who's that other human? He gets me the vibe of a loan shark.
Oh
A
shit.
lone
Like
shark.
just like he gives me that scummy, like sleazy loan shark vibe where he's like, "I'll be helpful, but I hate you all." Like like the idea of like all these people are getting into his debt, and he's maybe brokered a deal with like the Dream Eater, the Taper, um, and he's able to like live in this inner world, and he's like, "Don't worry about this. I'll take care of you. I'll sustain you. You just let me take care of your body." And then he answers those prayers, heals those people or whatever, calm takes away their negative stuff. But then he's like, "Now I'm gonna pay you guys back with interest and just like flood their systems, or possibly cause everyone to like fall asleep." And he just kills them in their sleep.
Hmm.
Yeah. Interested to see where it goes. And it's like there's a Pokemon that looks just like it, Musharna. It was I think it was like a Dream Eater Pokemon, so it would like, use hypnosis and then Dream Eater. So it's interesting that this exists here. And the authors, they clearly, there's a lot of Pokemon references, so wasn't surprised to see Musharna the taper here.
I love this most violent Pokemon version. This is pretty fun. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the super violent, like beat up Pokemon with our fists.
It reminds me of like Pokemon Red, where these kids get the crap beaten out of them by Hitmonlee and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. This village though, it reminds me of like fucking Basing Se. Like
Yeah, big bossing say vibes.
yeah, like they don't fuck with anybody, fucking with Bakugami, and you get fucking executed. And there's no crimes here. Nothing happens. Just only thing that's bad that people, only thing that you could do that would fucking piss us off is hurt Lord Bakugami or whatever. And they come flying in, fucking punching it and shooting it with ice, and it's fucking game over. They got fucking wanted posters on them and shit. So it's a crazy, chaotic chapter.
Right. And there was like a moment in this chapter that kind of made me like feel like weird, and maybe I'm like looking too much into it or whatever. But when Bakugami is talking to the world hater, hold on, let me see what page this is on. Oops, I gotta go
Alter.
back.
when he's like
Yeah,
talking to
at
the
the
fallen
altar.
leader.
Yeah, hold on. What page is that?
13.
13. Oh, here we go. Okay. God, no, no, Lord World Hater. I'm so sorry. So like, wasn't World Hater just like a name like that the Mantonel Witches Association gave to the magic that was like warping everything? Like, is that the nigga's actual name? Like, wouldn't like he has to have like an actual name, right? It's not like, does he like refer to himself as World Hater Magic too? Like where did they get that name from, and why is it shared across like every character, including magics that like would be closer associated to him than the Mantonel Witches Association? Like, is that just for like consistency for the audience? Because that kind of feels like immersion damaging to a certain degree. Like if this nigga really worshipped the World Hater Magic, like I don't know. I figured it would know like the actual name of it or whatever. Like I'm pretty sure it was just like a a name that was designated to it by the the Mantonel Witches Association. So why is this thing calling it the World Hater?
I
Yeah, he
flipped
doesn't
back.
really talk like a Magic because like Uroro and the others talk to each other about like they call each other by their names. So
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
weird.
Yeah, I did flip back. Chapter 15, and not sure, Badana, but the Marigold. She's saying the association's greatest enemy. We've been hunting it for years. If Aurora is the king magic, then this one and its ability to carve out and warp chunks of earth is the god magic, and we named it the world hater magic.
Right.
So it probably just heard it like through word of mouth, like
Okay.
it is the god magic, but we named it the world hater, so maybe it just kind of like
But even
heard.
even Uroro as the king magic still has a name, Uroro.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like, what is the World Hater Magic's name? I guess is like kind of like what I want to
Fungus has a
know, and
name.
like what, yeah, like why doesn't like anyone else seem to know it? Is that like being saved for something like later in the storytelling, and that's why everyone is using the World Hater designation? But like, I don't know.
I
It just felt
mean,
kind of like weird to me in the dialogue for this character that
if
worships it to, I mean, unless it's never encountered the World Hater magic before and has only known about it through word of mouth and just thinks he's dope and like wants to worship it and like heard its, moniker from the Mantonel Witches Association, I guess, or something, or word of mouth, like you said. I don't know.
yeah, because like even the posters, like you can see that like it has a lot of pictures and posters around this like inside of the fucking Musharna space, but like you can't see like clearly, like none of them show the world hater's face, so it's possible that it doesn't even know what the world hater looks like
Right.
there's a bunch of pictures, but they could just be like, oh, god, it could just be a bunch of words and a couple of like destroyed villages and shit, but like I can't see a face on any of these pictures. I can't even see like barely any body. Like on page was this page 13, the bottom
yeah,
right, you can just see it just looks like a bunch of symbols, like tapestries and shit. Like you can't
Yeah.
actually see like an image of the world hater. So it's like this guy, probably guy or girl, probably has no idea what the world hater even looks like, really.
Yeah, okay.
to
So
me they
maybe it's not
seem
as
like
big of a deal as I like originally thought about, because like there's just like the possibility that this character has never actually like met it or doesn't really know too much about it and only knows about like its feats or what it's done to the world, and just thinks that that's sick and like worships him because of that or whatever, but I just thought it was weird for a sec.
Yeah.
yeah, it makes me they seem to me more like ceiling talismans to like hold up like the dam of power that they've been building up within this taper. Um it they say that men can't be sorcerers, but is this person's got the funky ears? They seem to be like a magical being. So like are they like a gnome and therefore a sorcerer of some sort? Uh I wonder about that. He talks about like my god of destruction. So like the thing about like gods are like if there's only one god magic, would you humanize it by giving it a name?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's God. There's
Yeah.
just one. It is God. And then it just happens to hate the world. Turns
Yeah,
out
for
God's a
sure.
hater. That sucks.
Who'da thunk it?
God hates us.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's moments there. I don't have too much for this chapter.
Yeah, there's some good stuff like the Discaris moments when she's like, oh my god, they're fucking, Ichi's wants it now, and then she remembers that like if they kill Ichi, that she's gonna die because of the fucking blood contract, and they're like, they're
Death
like, oh,
Chorus.
what's yeah, death card. They're like, what's you can do it, right? It's like shit, no. It's
Yeah.
like you're saying like it's no big because she says like is it really that big a deal? And they're like they misunderstand her and it's like oh because you could just do it yourself right? You can hunt some down. It's like fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like getting
Yeah.
involved. You saying that it's no big deal for you that you can capture him easily, huh? She's just like shaking and shit because it's her life on the line, her people.
Right.
She's like, we don't know them at all. Death Chorus. That shit's. This is a really fun chapter for Discaris and Kamugi.
Hell yeah, and it's a pretty crazy reveal at the end of the chapter with Goku Raku being related to old girl, what's her name? Richia.
Rishi, yeah,
Richa.
yeah,
I knew, like we knew that this nigga's family was going to be like a big deal to some degree, like and like magically like related in some way, but like, damn, I didn't think he was gonna be related to old girl like that.
yeah. The one who initially found the
Yeah,
tapir, whatever, and like, so I wonder, yeah, what's the deal? Because he says he wants to, get magic so he can punch someone in the face. So I'm guessing like maybe it's Bakugami. Well, he said it was Bakugami, but like
right.
is it the human version that's inside that he's seen or whatever? Like what it seems like maybe his sister is being like forced to like remain here as like the person who initially found this thing or some shit.
Yeah, and
So maybe he wants to like free her.
this is like in keeping with the idea that I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was me. I don't know. Like I know I'd be saying that, but like I actually think it might have been me this time. But I'd have
No.
to go back. I'd have to go back into like previous episodes and double check. But there was this idea that was brought up that when Bakugami was first found, um like it was different than the Bakugami that has kind of like taken over this like culture and this like part of the world or whatever, and or maybe it had done this exact same thing that it's doing to this country and culture that it did to like a previous location, and it like was related to Goku Raku in the sense of like this thing came in, it like converted everyone to like become a worshiper of it, and it like kind of like split like the nation in like half, where you had like woke niggas that were like, nah bro, this isn't right, like he's manipulating your feelings and shit, like snap out of it, like don't let this thing control you, and the other half is just like, nah, everything's chill bro, this dude's awesome, he makes us feel good, fuck off, like, and it created some kind of like civil unrest, some kind of like civil war like kind of situation that like tore like a previous location like apart, and Goku Raku might have come from that nation, and that's why he has beef with Bakugami, because he sees that it's like kind of trying to do the same thing somewhere else. But now it's like if his sister's Richia and she originally found Bakugami like in this country, then like Goku Raku like obviously comes from here, right? Comes from this
Or it ended
place.
up here,
Yeah.
wandered here. Because I mean, I'm looking back at its at last chapter, and it kind of like reminds me of when Denji found Pochita. Like, she's like sitting down on the ground, like crying and stuff, and then Bakugami appears, and it even talks and says, "What's wrong?" And it just like walks up to her, and it's like, "Why are you crying by yourself? Give me a hug." And it looks like put what Denji found Pochita like in the fucking park, bleeding out and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if this other like creature is another Magic. What if it's the worship Magic?
We
Hmm.
made
Like its power is getting people to influencing people to like worship Bakugami, and then
mm,
he's storing all that faith, but he's gonna use it as a weapon.
Be interesting.
I don't know, cause like Bakugami's getting bigger, and the inside of him looks like a sealed thing, and it's just like a sealed container under pressure usually explodes.
yeah.
Something else I'm just noticing is in this in page 15 when Richia or whatever is in like her room, and there's these photos, and there's one that looks like her or maybe her mom or something, but then the picture on the right, it looks like an older person and then a little girl, and then to the left there's another person that's probably fucking dude,
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like, yeah, but it's interesting. We see, family. So maybe the mom was killed or something because of some shit with the fucking elephant or whatever, taper. So there's some stuff there. I'm interested for sure to see where this goes and if this is really Bakugami like humanized or if there's a person inside of Bakugami doing some shit. I'm still on team. This is a guy inside of a fucking animal, like, and the seals are like keeping nobody can feel my presence in here because I got all these fucking talismans up, like fucking uh to conceal myself or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's the
like
same
signal
symbol as
jammers.
the.
Yeah.
It's the same symbol as the guy on the back of the first page. The jacket says joy. It says translation joy.
Oh
Oh yeah.
shit.
And I'm looking at that and
Where?
I'm looking at the talismans.
First page, third panel.
Oh.
And then going back to
Oh.
page 15, the one where Richie is praying, all of those say joy as well then.
Wait, where's that?
Page 15?
14?
Oh,
14,
14.
15?
Wait, what?
Wait, I don't see it.
It's the one where he's like, well, this is the first time they've attacked me with magic.
What?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's 12 for me. It's probably a double
Oh.
spread in there making it do that.
I'm on the Manga Plus.
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
It's
I'm
12
doing
for
my
me.
best guess. I'm doing my best guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think it is joy. Talismans all over the place. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good spot. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's definitely not the world hater then. I think unless there's one because there's like this one picture that we see them like kneeling to, and it does look like actually you can see the world hater's hat, but like it looks like his face might be covered. Like you can't see, like you can kind of see his pointy hat in page 14 right above this
Mm-hmm.
person.
Yeah.
Um, but it looks like maybe his face might be censored or something. So maybe they don't know what he looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, good chapter. A lot to think about, a lot to hopefully get questions answered pretty soon.
Hell yeah.
Let me see. These other people have these face markings. Yeah, they do. I was gonna say because Goku Raku has these like triangles on his face, and so does the first dude.
Yeah,
But a
the
couple other
priest.
guys
Yeah.
have them too.
That might
Yeah,
be just a gender role thing. Like,
yeah, triangles. Because his sister has circles
yeah.
over her eyes
But I haven't seen too many ladies in this series, so I'm just like, what's going on? I mean, not in the
in this
series,
village.
mostly
Yeah,
ladies, but like in this village.
yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
it could be a thing where the guys get triangles and girls get circles or whatever. But yeah, I think I'm squeezed out for this chapter. What about you, Mello?
I am as well.
Knox?
I'm Gucci.
That's going to do it for Ichi the Witch 27th Hunt. If we missed anything, let us know down below. It's pretty late, baby. And that does it for this episode. Thank you. Oh wait, actually, we have a segment left. ASStro Royale, chapter 46, dealing with the aftermath. Oops, forgot.
Yeah, we gotta see what the doo-doo stinking about real quick.
Oh.
So I don't know, man. Like
Oh shit.
the streets is lucky that I missed that we did not do a review 3 weeks ago
Yeah.
because that shit was hot doo doo butter ass cheeks, and I wasn't here last week, so I couldn't talk about it. That shit was the worst, bro. I just got to get this shit off my chest, bro. Kiwikui, when I fucking catch you, brother,
It's
bro.
up.
When I catch you, bro. This
It's
motherfucker.
over.
He hyped up this fight with fucking Goku, whatever his name is, the fucking Mikey, not Mikey, with
Godai.
tattoos. Godai. Yeah, he hyped up this fucking Godai fight the whole tournament just to have that motherfucker fight. His first fight get off screen, and his second fight gets fucking canceled because dickhead with the fucking teleporty eyeball thing knocks him out or whatever. And then they just give the fucking fight to Hibar.
Nigga got
bro.
his shit off screen twice, bro. This manga is dog shit.
That was, bro. When I saw that shit, I said, "This is the ass. This is the ass." Like
somebody smell like shit.
It can't get more booty. But I will say the chapter after that was a little better.
Fine. Yeah, it was fine.
And I guess this one's cool too, just to get it out of the way. Spoiler alert: I didn't completely hate this chapter, but I fucking hated 3 chapters ago, and I was almost buying a ticket to fucking Japan to go see Kenny. Because what the fuck,
Oh, choke him till his eyes pop out.
bro? Make him rewrite that fucking chapter, yeah. But anyway,
Oh fuck. Okay, let's actually talk about it, I guess.
yeah,
Because
dealing with
like,
the aftermath.
yeah, like I think that it was a good showing of the kind of person that Yotsurugi had is. Like he got fucking, he got backdoored and betrayed on some super shisty shit. And
Yeah,
even in death was just like, fuck it, bro. I'm not even mad at y'all. Like that's cool stuff. Like, anyone who could take a L like that and still like show love for the niggas that betrayed him. Like, especially in this circumstance, it's like, all right, this nigga got heart. He's got like a good philosophy. He's got, like it was just like a cool showing of his character in that moment, I think.
yeah, and he never cursed him. Like even
Yeah.
as he's dying, he wasn't like "fuck you" or the kid. Like he when he was getting his powers siphoned, he's like, "Bro, like I thought we were like equals, dog. We were comrades. We drank together." And
We
bro's
were
like, "Nah."
gang.
Yeah, he's like, "No, you were the king, and I was a soldier." And it's like he still doesn't say anything bad about dude. He doesn't say anything bad about the kid. He's just like, "Just tell him I was sick, bro. It's okay. I forgive you." Type shit. Glad it was you who punished me because I did a bunch of fucked up shit in my life too.
Yeah, he was willing to, like even though he went out like on some fuck shit, like and you want to feel bad for him because he got double crossed. Like the nigga knows that he didn't live his life like entirely pure or like altruistic. Like he stepped on he stepped on necks himself. Like he lied and cheated his way like to the top to some degree that like we might find out about later or whatever. But I mean like at the end of the day, like these are yakuza niggas, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like not everything is gonna be sunshine and rainbows, like even if they're the good
I liked
guys.
that the most. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you're gonna say something, Mello?
I was kind of curious about what Tendo's like the symbol on his ear. He had like a tattoo on his ear.
Oh, I
Oh
never
yeah.
even noticed that.
I mean, I I'm really confused. I don't know what that means. It it looks like Sanskrit or something.
Yeah.
Um, so if anyone's good at linguistics, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I mean,
However,
he's got like the big earlobes, like on some like Buddha e or like or I think Sanskrit is actually like Indian or Hindu, isn't it?
oh, I mean, Buddhism is a pan-cultural
True, 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 true.
religion for sure,
Yeah,
or movement or philosophy. There's layers.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I
Uh,
definitely like when you said something about it, I was like, oh, that's just like some kanji that we like don't know
I
like
didn't even look at
the
kanji.
translation for. But yeah, no, now that I'm like really looking at it, like I think it is like a little bit more like om or whatever, like that type beat or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, what
that's
was that
hilarious.
shit Mello did earlier? Wah!
Yo,
Yeah.
Yo!
Yeah,
yeah.
he did. He made a
Oh
mouth
my
noise.
god,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
full of those.
That's a cool spot
Uh,
though on the ear. I like that.
no,
Yeah.
like another spot on there was on Hibaru's not Hibaru
Chikaba.
yeah, Shikaba. His ring has an 8 on it,
Oh,
which kind of represents like infinity and flow. And then if you like look at Hibaru's fist, there's a power symbol, the daybreak, or like just like I get like these Phoenix and Sun vibes from
mm,
all these guys, and it just gets more and more intense as the story continues. So like it symbolizes infinity, resurrection, power, life transference. Like there's these elements to it that
yeah.
like are there, and
There's some visual storytelling going on in this
I
ass
want
water
to
manga.
see
Oh,
yeah, I
Damn.
want to see what the end result of the Daybreak Ore, because like I feel like there's really good, interesting bones to this,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's the parts that I'm interested in feel rushed, and the parts that feel like they're there to give depth are almost like not forced but drawn out.
yeah.
Where it's like, hey, here's the nuance part, but we're gonna drag it out, and I'm like, it's just a little too dragged out. I just want a little more balance out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like
Yeah, I
even
feel you
like
on that.
the sun kind of vibe off like the shoulder of the arm in the last panel uh is really solid. I think I agree with everybody saying that Old Man showed a lot of grace after getting Artifact ambushed and Millennium guzzled by power.
Oh. Yeah, hell
Yeah,
yeah. And what's really
I don't
cool to
know.
me in this chapter is that the Daybreak ore in this scene, like it seems to be like a complete form of it, where it's like a big ass like artifact ball, whereas like the Daybreak
Mhm.
ore that we've seen like throughout the story up until this point has kind of been like fragmented. You know what I mean? So it was like all in one. Like this is like the ultimate form of it or something. Like this is like the super Daybreak or Powerball, and then it like broke some kind of way, like the Shikon Jewel or some shit in Inuyasha.
Yeah. I remember one like had like it looked
Oh,
like one of those fucking like berserk monster babies or
The
whatever. It just looked
Behelit.
weird. I
yeah,
guess,
yeah.
yeah. It was a
Uh,
mouth monster.
it makes me wonder if it's one of those things where like it absorbs a lot of power. It's got kind of like the biblically accurate angel kind of vibes to
Oh
it.
yeah, all the
And
eyes and
with
shit.
the whole like phoenix things coming off Shikaba and like these sun things, is there kind of like the idea of like suns waxing and waning, eclipsing, creating like massive damage? Is there I want to see the payoff on this sun motif badly.
Mm.
Because right now I feel like it's carrying the story so far. Um, and do you feel like they took the Daybreak or transferred the life force, and then did they purposely break up the Daybreak orb to scatter power and like elevate the pool of potential soldiers that they could recruit from, and then use that to use powered numbers, even if it's not as directly powerful? You can still like, are they trying to mine more ore out of these people? Like, what's why did they give people powers?
Right.
Yeah, it could be like
Because
a
they
beast.
have the thing, and then they broke it somehow and caused a meteor shower. So what was the point of that?
I'm thinking
That's
like
what I'm curious about.
a beast pirates type of deal where Kaido is like making sure all his crew is fucking animals or whatever. Could be something like that. They're just trying to
Hmm.
like make strong soldiers for their crew, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It would require a reread to get a little more understanding or some more
And we
information to be
not
given.
doing that.
Yeah. Also, I
Well,
just realized that Shikaba has like those eights on his shirt too, and
mhm.
the eye that he keeps closed kind of has like a eight infinity symbol in it, but it also has like in the gaps, like on the left and the right side of like the infinity, there's
Where are
like
you
two
seeing
more
that?
circles. Last chapter.
Uh
Yeah, if you look at last chapter,
no.
page 15, you can see his eyes.
Mm.
He's got like that
I
infinity in his eye.
refuse.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, no, I
I
mean the
think
flashback or whatever was cool. For all the reasons that we said, like the daybreak or situation, clearly being like one big thing and then being fragmented into smaller parts is cool. But then like you get back to present time and like the fight just where it's going just reminds me of like what I really don't like about this series action wise, because it's like we've been making this complaint like pretty much every fight this tournament, where the fights are literally just take the damage until you land your hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Hibaru like gets hit a bunch until he finally like lands the final wallop and just like wins, and like we get back to present time and he's like, all right, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. Like
Yeah.
you've been hitting me a lot with your shit, but now I'm gonna use my ultimate ability, you're gonna use your ultimate ability, let's just clash powers and see what happens. And it's like, nigga,
Yeah.
well,
you aren't even trying to like create any kind of like strategy or depth to these fights. Like you just want the
it,
MC to say some cool shit and punch the bad guy. Like that's not enough sometimes, especially when you have a power system that like has this much potential to it. You know what I mean? Like you create all of these like, really cool abilities that like your audience is going to speculate on the applications of, and then just have the most standard shit happen with them. Like even like below standard, like it's very very easy mode lazy the way that these fights pan out, given
it
how the power system has kind of been set up so far, and it's just really disappointing.
it really shows the difference of like, I think what like Ken Wakui is like good at, because the flashback had all the parts that we've talked about earlier of like early dramas and like the like Eastern soaps where they're just like, hey, family bonds and betrayal and like the drama. I think that if they focused on that genre and like time period and like really focused that style of writing, I think they could take off.
Well, yeah,
But
like he was
I
really good at character stuff and whatnot in Tokyo
yeah,
Revengers. You know what I mean? And I brought that up like in our reviews for ASStro Royale. Like, what happened to that Ken Wakui
yeah.
that like made me give a fuck about every single character to such like an insane degree with like, little to no screen time. Like I was just immediately attracted to like the characters that he had introduced in the story, and then they got fleshed out even more later, and I fell in even more love with them as time went on. We're just not getting that. He's like speed running these character arcs in ASStro Royale in place of like really lazy and bare bones and standard action, and it just doesn't feel right. Like I don't know if this is editorial pressure of any kind. I don't know if he just like bit off more than he can chew with like a concept like this and just like really wanted to make it in Weekly Shonen Jump. Maybe he was feeling himself after the success of Tokyo Revengers in another magazine and was just like, I can do this Weekly Shonen Jump shit. Let me think of a super powered, Yakuza story real quick. Watch this, and then just like didn't actually know what to do with it when it came down to it. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but
I mean, that's a snappy pitch. The people that work the world of the night harness the power of the sun.
yeah,
Like, yeah, that sounds cool as hell. But
yeah,
Yeah.
like at the same time, not everyone's gonna be Tagashi. Like, there's reasons why I like Shangri-La Frontier. It doesn't try to be dot hack.
yeah.
Like, you can't
Yeah.
always just say this is gonna be the power manga and this is how it's gonna go and it's gonna have all this stuff, because at the end of the day, there's a spectrum. Like you're either in like Black Clover Land or you're in Hunter Land. Like there's a wide spectrum,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, but
It's
like,
crazy because like this shit is worse than Black Clover,
Yeah, somebody
dude.
somebody was talking about that in the group chat today. I said this shit is under Black Clover and Boruto for
do
me.
you think that
Yeah,
they're rushing it because they feel like they know that they're getting axed?
maybe.
Or they're like, or because you've done so well with this previous Tokyo Revengers, we're giving you a grace period in which we want you to wrap this up.
It
Like,
just
it just
it,
feels like it's getting faster, and I don't know why.
yeah, and the
Like,
tournament just doesn't like I care less and less about this tournament, and like it's just I don't know, it's so weird. And like Knox was saying, like it gets to a point where the all the fights are like I'm gonna use my big move and you're gonna use yours and we're gonna see who wins. But like, okay, now we mix it up by like having them do a couple of big moves and then we show some flashbacks and then we jump back into big moves. It's like
Mhm.
this the only difference with this fight and the first fight is that we have a flashback for Hibaru's family here. Like
Right.
and the
Otherwise, it's
last
just this
fight was the
nigga getting
same.
beaten with a cane over and over again, and
Yeah,
it's
it's just
I
like
like
just, I just wish that they had like, I don't know, done some of these flashbacks when they introduced the characters.
type
They're like,
shit.
oh, it's him, and then flashback, like, oh, this is what I liked about him. Here's something I didn't like about him. Then he starts talking shit in the real time, and then you do banter and blah blah
Or
blah.
like if you're
And
going to
maybe,
have like all of these characters be so important to the narrative and you try to rush it all like in this tournament arc, it's like take your time with it. If they're going to be if these characters are really that important, then spend some time before a tournament arc like this fleshing them out, introducing us to them, let us learn about them, like give us some like smaller scale conflicts with them involved, and then bring them back later for a tournament arc and use them, for all of this like big spectacle like action or whatever. But like don't
yeah,
introduce all of them in the arc, barely touch on them, like it's like you're struggling for screen time with them and like have to get back to action. It just feels so like wishy-washy and sloppy the way that everything was kind of constructed and put together. If you would have just let it breathe a little bit more and actually like took the time to, let us give a fuck about these characters first before you throw them in a fucking tournament arc with this high of stakes and like this kind of like scale. Like I'm just like struggling to care about any of it because it all just feels so fast and so like glossed over that it's
yeah.
like they're not having the narrative impact that they should, considering like, how high Ken Wakui is putting them like on a pedestal in relation to like the narrative at hand. So it's like it just feels gross.
And they could have did Shikaba's like grandfather thing differently too. Like it could have just been like a case where like Hibaru wins or whatever, and he steps to the old man and is like, I'm not gonna beat up an old guy. You know, I haven't fallen that far, even though I'm a Yakuza or whatever. He turns his back, and then dude's actually buff, gets up out of his chair and like knocks Hibaru out. And then we get the flashback and shows like, oh yeah, this dude was actually a fucking cold hearted killer. He's buff as fuck. He just looks fucking shrimpy, you know, and old, but
Yeah.
like this like we didn't know he was like ripped like this until this chapter suddenly where he siphons the power in the flashback. But like,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like that could have just been done better because I still like he's not dead. He could have been doing something. Like they made him this buff. Like, is he gonna fight?
Yeah, the
Like, are we
biggest
gonna?
failure, I feel like there's two major failures in this arc, is that Ken Wakui, like, is trying to present these Yakuza clan heads as, like, this big, threat, and, like, these really big deals in the Yakuza underworld, but, like, didn't, give them the time to be built up as threats and make us really feel the stakes when it comes to, like, wronging them or annoying them or, like, whatever. I drew a parallel to the admirals in One Piece and how they were kind of set up and like what kind of feats they were given and what kind of things they accomplished leading into the Marineford arc, and why that scene when Luffy gets fucking blasted with the over shoulder like water throw from Jinbei and lands right in front of the admirals, you kind of like lose your breath because of like how insane that moment is, considering how much more powerful and how big of a threat the admirals had been built up to be before Luffy was just thrown in front of them like that, knowing he doesn't have haki, knowing he has no way to deal with Logias in general. You know what I mean? Like, that was a really big deal because of the setup, and we just didn't get any of that with the Yakuza clan heads. And we were just supposed to just know that they were like badass, like underworld leaders that can't be fucked with. Like, no, I didn't feel that in that moment. There was no sense of threat. There was no sense of like worry or tension or anything like that because we didn't even know these niggas, bro. And like that was like one major failure. And the second major failure is like what I was saying, earlier about how like these characters like Shikaba and Tyra and whoever the fuck else, like, were not fleshed out prior to the arc either. So there's no emotional resonance that we're supposed to feel when these characters are like experiencing, the regret that they feel in at the end of their fights or something like that. Like we're not tied to them in any kind of way because they've had little to no screen time, but their dialogue is implying that we should give a fuck about their circumstances and feel sorry for them, and that this is like this crazy character drama where like all of these like family ties are being like shattered and disconnected over something that everyone was kind of forced into but doesn't really want to participate in. And it's just like you need to set that up more if you're going to try to deliver on stuff like that, otherwise it's just going to feel rushed and weird.
Yeah. It feels like very much that he did the tell not show thing, because like he told us the Yakuza, and like, yeah, we sell people, we hurt people, we kill people, but like we didn't get to see any of that like bad guy stuff. Like nothing about any of these characters tells us or shows us that they're bad guys and do horrible things, besides like the one flashback with that girl's dad was like drugged out and sexually abusing her and beating her ass and stuff. And then like these guys saying like, yeah, we kidnap and sell people, but like other than that, like everybody looks like fucking bums, bro.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like almost like this series feels a bit like an overcorrection for Ken Wakui. Uh because if like I think I remember a lot of the old complaints of like Tokyo Revenger was that it wasn't focused. Like we loved the characters, but where was the story going? And then where is the mystery? And then people are like, I don't really understand the mystery. Or they're like, I'm not satisfied with this. And then why'd that guy get hit by a truck? Um, all kinds of stuff. And so I feel like this is like an overcorrection where they're trying to be organized, but I think that their talents and other stuff lay in a different direction than Battle Shonen.
Mm.
And this is what the result is. It's like they're like, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunate. that it happened the way it happened, but like I'm sure next chapter is just gonna like they're gonna clash and Hibaru is gonna win, and it's like I'm sorry, bro. Like I really did love Dad, and he knows it. He wanted me to not, tell anyone that I did it and shit like that. And Hibaru will like win the tournament, and I don't know. It's just it just doesn't feel good. I don't care
No,
anymore.
it just feels like, hey, Dad told me not to tell anybody, and I'm like, but does that mean I'll forgive you? Like, I think as a reasonable character choice and a reasonable character question is, should I forgive you? And Hibaru has been like so straightforward and like upbeat most of this time series that I'm like, are is that question on the table? And I genuinely want to know. Like,
I feel like he can forgive him.
yeah, yeah, power of friendship. I get it.
Yeah, but I think he'll forgive him, and then like old man will like stomp his fucking skull in or something, and he'll die.
And then he'll resurrect through the power of the phoenix.
Oh, brother.
All the people that died to the daybreak were brought back to life. Oh,
This
the
shit making me
guy
hate
was
my
good
life.
all along. No, no, please don't. I don't want to put that in the world. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, take that out in post. I'm kidding.
yeah. So I think I'm squeezed out. I'm just gonna wait and see where Wakui takes us because I haven't been impressed in a while. But I'm through with this chapter. What about you, Knox
I'm so good.
and Mello?
I'm set.
All right, so for real this time, that's going to do it for Astro Royale, Chapter 46, Dealing with the Aftermath by Kenny.
Buns cheeks.
Before we wrap up, we got our little chapter of the week segment that we always do. So for me, I'm just gonna make it real short and sweet, baby. My favorite chapter of this week for this podcast was Ranger Reject chapter. What was it? Fucking, it was
The
the big
most
one.
recent one, right?
Yeah,
170.
yeah, big one.
Yeah.
It was a great chapter. It was huge. My jaw hit the floor, and I just picked it up like 5 minutes ago. What about you, Knox? What's your favorite chapter this week?
It's kind of hard to like not say Ranger, but like honestly, man, thinking about it, I've been thinking about it like throughout the show, like what will I say my favorite chapter was when we finally got to this segment, and like I feel like I want to say Centuria, man.
Yeah, it was
Centuria
tough to
was
not say that.
huge, dude. Like it was just like such a big chapter, and I'm so invested in that story, and it was such a good twist reveal payoff that like did everything that it needed to do and like added so much to the characters and the lore, and I just loved everything about it.
Okay. Yeah, it was a big chapter. I almost said it too. What about you, Mello? What's your favorite chapter of the week?
Honestly, it was Centuria. I was
Ooh.
really captured with the Faceless Black Knight. I genuinely was baffled when it was Lucas. Like, to me, it really hit. It was very impactful. I think that Ranger Reject is an amazing series, fantastic series. Like, strong, I love it. V, you're doing the Lord's work. Uh, but, like, as much as I had that, like, massive, like, cannonball of stuff, Centuria.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Centuria had a banger chapter. If you're watching this segment and did you skip the Centuria segment because you don't read Centuria, you should change that and stop being a dummy. So that's gonna do it for chapter of the week. Before we get out of here, also got to do top comments. Can't forget about you guys in the comment section. Thanks for all your great words and comments and thoughts and all that good stuff. Starting with at Parlay Miles 2064. We also gave him a shout out during the Dandadan segment, but if you skip that for some reason, Parlay, you sicko. She's the Lord of Flies. I don't care. LOL. 6 days ago. At the time of listening to this, that'll be 7 days ago. And yeah, you actually called it. I don't know if anyone else called it, but you did it, man. You fucking did it.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. Good job.
It's crazy stuff. At V Quatus 4679. Really good chapters in these past couple weeks. Love the show. What are you guys' thoughts on the latest chapter of Bugle Call? So I am like 3 or 4 chapters behind on Bugle Call, so I can't speak to that. Thanks for saying you love the show. Knox, Mello, you guys caught up on Bugle Call?
I'm also
Yeah.
behind on the Bugle Call by like a couple of chapters,
Uh,
I think. No.
I'm current. I'm current.
Oh, well,
My heart hurts.
oh
My
shit.
heart hurts.
It's like that? Oh no. All
There,
right.
it is like Bugle Call as a whole. It's so sweet. It's so cute. guys, it's a horror series. The whole thing is a horror series bundled into multiple horror series.
Wow.
There's like 3 different phobias rolled into one in the last couple chapters.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna catch up tomorrow then.
Yeah, I got like 3 chapters to
So
read, so
good.
I'll catch
Please,
up probably
please
this week.
read the series, people.
Yeah, if you're
I
not
need to
reading
do
a
that.
bugle call, get the fuck in there. What are you doing?
But
Yeah,
also,
need to.
trigger warning, a lot of stuff. Gore, violence, other questionable things.
We all
But
grown, baby.
yeah, it's a grown series for grown people, and that's all the warning you're getting out of me.
Peak
All right,
fiction
let's
though.
see. Yeah,
Yeah, amazing.
Black Hand 531. Bakugami never growing in years and years is a red flag to me. And yeah, I agree. That's definitely saying something. Like I guess Bakugami hit its cap for its growing point. So like maybe it'll explode, or maybe it's being contained or something. Who knows? What thoughts? Bakugami from Ichi the Witch. Any thoughts about it not growing anymore?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay,
I'm just
Mellow.
waiting for a giant explosion of sleep, and everyone will be trapped in a world of slumber
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
effectively die, just the way the world hater likes it.
Okay. And last comment before wrapping this up. I got a comment from some weird dude, Papa Traffy or some shit. He said the Greek and Knox carrying the podcast for real. To hell with that dude. Yato's anniversary is 10 days before mine. So yeah, F you, but also congrats, man, because that means your anniversary is in 4 days when you hear this. So hope life is going well for your brother.
Hell yeah.
You cutie.
Big
Yeah, cutie.
Traffy.
Yeah, big Trafferton. Don't you ever come in our comments and diss me like that again, brother.
Nah, you should do it more like every week. That'd be sick.
Oh man, can't do this. But that's gonna do it for comments. So that's gonna do it for this episode. That is dose of the Shonen Pulse podcast. If you like the episode, please obviously hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, stomp your dirty feet down on our doormat. That is the comment section, and we'll read it next time for the comments of the week section. Thanks for watching, and my boy Mellow, if you got any words for the people, let us know where to follow you and what you got coming up, if anything, to keep an eye for.
Thank you. Hi, Mellow Yenace. Some of you may remember me from the Project Manga days. I know some of you followed me on Twitter. I don't use that anymore. Right now, you can find me at Mellow Yenace at .bsky.social. I mostly talk about tabletop stuff, to be honest, but if you always ask me questions and are pretty cool about it, I'm always happy to talk.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks for joining us tonight, Mello. Know we are running a bit late. I don't know what time it is in your area, but it's 2 a.m. for me. So hopefully it's not so late for you and you get to bed a little earlier. So thanks for joining us, brother.
Yes, of course. Always good to be with you guys. Thanks for having me on as your first guest for this show. It means a lot. Thank you.
Hell yeah. First guest. We'll be seeing you again, hopefully. So that's going to do it for this episode. That is Shonen Pulse out of here. Holla.